And we're beginning to see things really ramp up south of Houston along 288, south of Pearland in Brazoria County. Looks like we may see a new tornado warning get issued by this storm that's now popping up. So let's go to Kevin real fast for a quick little brief on what he's seeing there south of Houston.
Yeah, Travis, this is that cell that I've been watching, and this now has that same signature, that same hook that we've seen in other parts of the line north of I-10 that were eventually tornado warned. Starting to see some rotation with this, and I can go ahead and zoom in on where that rotation is. It's not the tightest core, it's not the tightest circulation, but this could be the next area that gets a tornado warning. National Weather Service has a lot going on right now. Of course, we're monitoring the active storm, but anytime you see that hook, those are winds wrapping that precipitation around. Very strong, rapidly rotating winds, and that is at least the beginning of what could become a tornado warned storm. So while most of the action is north of I-10 and will remain north of I-10, we do have these strong storms here for parts of Chambers County, from Bonnie to Liverpool, that we really do need to keep an eye on, Travis.
I don't see signs of that with that other storm, Kevin, but it's something we got to keep a watchful eye on. Well, hold up. We're starting to see some blue here. It doesn't necessarily mean it's debris, but it is something that we need to be aware of, that there is potentially a tornado trying to spin up here between Bonnie and Liverpool.
Yeah, okay? And these are still storms that are just developing, right? These are just beginning, whereas that last storm was mature when we saw that debris signature. These storms are just starting to get all of those ingredients together here, and I would not be surprised here if we see more tornado warnings, especially on that southern storm. Could be the next thing to come.
And Kevin, I'm seeing in Porter Heights, 5 miles northeast of Porter Heights, a report just came in from a train spotter that mobile homes have been heavily damaged or destroyed. A brick home with the roof completely removed. The East Montgomery Fire Department was hit with bay doors blown in and the metal roof peeled back. Debris is scattered across the area. So I believe what I just read to you is what we were seeing,
the debris signature.
Part of that debris signature. So we suspect that there is some significant damage there in Porter Heights, between Porter Heights and Splendora, from that earlier tornado that was on the ground. So very, very sad to report that. Hopefully there's no reports of any injuries or worse, but you know, it's going to be a while before we know the full extent of what that tornado did, because when you see that signature that far away from the radar, that usually means a very large and destructive tornado was on the ground.
Yeah, and that it was impacting areas, structures, debris, to throw all of that high up in the air. And now we're seeing a similar form on some of these storms in our latest tornado warning. This is set to expire at 1:15. It's for north and northeast Harris. Farther south, you have a storm that looks very similar. You've got this hook here, no active tornado warning, but you've got that hook, and this could be the next area to see a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning as well.
I see no signs of circulations right now over Houston or Harris County. We do see sign of something trying to spin up here between Bonnie and Liverpool. It's a pretty rural part of Brazoria County, just to the south of FM 1462. And so that is potentially another developing circulation, but the one we know.
But that next cluster of lightning that you see down in Brazoria County, this is the next area that we're watching. This is making its way northeast, so it's pushing towards Galveston County. No warning on this storm right now, but we also have a slight hook starting to develop. You've got a lot of lightning, and you have a lot of signs in that storm that this could be another potential storm. As we switch it over, look at velocity. Travis mentioned starting to see some signs there that we have at least some broad rotation, though at this point, not enough for a tornado warning. That's what we're going to monitor. Now, this whole line is going to be clearing here from west to east. We're going to get a break in and around Houston in Harris County, and then we turn our attention farther off to the west. This secondary line that's racing in.
I'm going to stop you right there. We just got a new tornado warning for that cell that we've been watching in Brazoria County. So go ahead and pull the printout and go ahead and read us what's on that printout right there that just came down. That is the new tornado warning until 1:30 for Brazoria and Galveston counties. Alvin and Friendswood, you are in the path of this potential tornado.
So this is the storm that we were just discussing, starting to show those signatures here, starting to show that radar indicated rotation. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Liverpool, 7 miles southwest of Alvin, moving off to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. This is that storm here in Brazoria County that's making its way into Galveston County that is the next up. And Travis, you can see that rotation. You nailed it right there. You can see the greens and the reds matching up here. If we switch it over to Travis's source to max 3, you can clearly see where that rotation is. That's the spot that we need to monitor here. That's moving off to the north and east, Travis. That's making it towards Alvin. It's crossing 35. This is north of Liverpool, but this is the area now where everybody needs to stay weather aware. And based on what we've seen today, we've seen tornadoes, we've seen reported tornado damage, we've seen structural damage. You need to treat every single warning as if there is a tornado on the ground. And quite likely, we either do have a tornado on the ground or we will get one from this latest cell.
And Kevin, what's the speed on that? I've got at 40 miles per hour right now.
This was also moving off to the northeast at 30, but I think 40, give people a little bit of time, is a good idea. Yeah. 107 making it into Alvin, continuing off northeast, crossing over Highway 6 at that point.
Yeah, so right now the circulation, as last seen by the radar, is very close to, looks like it's close to Maryland Street, County Road 172, approaching Los Robles Avenue and Pine Tree Trail and 35. So State Highway 35 there is going to cross 35 in the vicinity of Liverpool, in between Liverpool and Alvin. So that is the latest tornado warning that we have. This is a radar indicated circulation. Oh, Kevin, look at this. I think this actually is a tornado based on what we're seeing, because we have a very close view of this. So I believe right over County Road 172 near Ruffin Road, we have a tornado likely on the ground, because look at how fast these speeds are changing direction from 75 miles per hour to 33 miles per hour in the opposite direction.
And that's 110 mile per hour gate to gate wind shear, winds going in different directions right on top of each other, essentially on top of the same road. You don't see that unless you have a tornado on the ground. So we've got that strong signature, and unfortunately the next step is that we're going to have to monitor for any potential debris. Once you get that tight of a rotation, it's only a matter of time until you likely start to see some debris to follow it.
And Kevin,
so if you are just east,
tracking
County Road 192, those are the areas immediately you need to be in your safe space.
Yeah, and it is tracking right along County Road 172 at this time. So this is going to be crossing 192, eventually County Road 191, very close to, again, Oak Bend Drive, Hunter's Bend, Custom Drive, Mohawk Drive, all in the vicinity of this tornado. It's radar indicated right now, but when you see that signature, Kevin, like you said, that is a sign that we are detecting a twister. And so you've got a different view of it. What are you detecting right now in sampling those wind speeds on that one?
It's a different view, it's a different radar, but it tells the same story. And what it tells is strong winds moving away from the radar, right next to strong winds moving towards the radar. That is a clear rotation signature. Travis, you mentioned right along County Road 172. This is making its way off to the north and east. Again, treat this as if it is a life-threatening situation. We've seen damage to structures already today, and this is another very likely tornado on the ground, continuing off towards the northeast. And look at this. That rotation has only gotten tighter as we've just gotten an update in right along County Road 192. If you're on County Road 191, Oak Bend Drive, Ray Circle, these are areas here that you clearly need to be in your safe spot. Travis, I just saw you sampling the winds coming up over 100 miles per hour. Yeah,
about 126 mile per hour difference right there between the two of those. So, so we definitely have a tornado circulation that is moving right along County Road 172. And this is just a snapshot, so it is very close. Now we've got the new update from the Weather Service. They are going with a confirmed tornado. So let's get the latest right here. I'll pull the view back out. They are calling this, is it radar observed? Is that what we're going with?
Radar confirmed tornado located near Liverpool or near Alvin, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour.
Yeah, and
right
Kevin,
now.
We're seeing the debris signature, unfortunately. I hate to see this because this tells us that structures have been hit, and that is a very well-defined debris signature, last observed at County Road 192 and County Road 172 in Brazoria County. So let me go back a little bit just to kind of see. Yeah, we first saw it pop up right here. Around County Road 172, just by Ruffin Road. So when we saw that, we knew, Kevin, that was a tornado, and we are seeing the debris signature on this one as well. Now,
so let's get everybody in their safe spot out ahead of this storm, because that is the most important thing. If you are along FM 2403, if you are along 35, if you are just south of Alvin or in Alvin, you need to be in your safe spot right now. This is a radar confirmed tornado, and what you're seeing on your screen watching right now is debris that has been lofted up into the air. It's the radar saying, this isn't rain, this isn't hail, this isn't anything uniform. These are 2x4s, these are branches, these are planks, these are shingles, things that are really sending up a red flag for that radar. And it is only getting tighter, it's only getting stronger here. The rotation tightening up, and the debris signature it stands out. It says there is a tornado on the ground, and there's no question about it. If you're along 35, you need to be in your safe spot right now. 35, and just zooming in a little bit on some of these roads, is this Serenity Drive. Any of these neighborhoods in this area, and hopefully it is a rural area in some spots, you need to be in your safe spot right now.
Yeah, Kevin, I'm going to go ahead and stay on this one, and because we have that other active warning, go ahead and take a look at what's happening in Liberty County, and as soon as you got something ready to show us, let me know. But this is the most recent tornado warned storm that has popped up. I will go ahead and throw on the information for you one more time. This is a confirmed tornado, a radar confirmed tornado warning until 1:30 p.m. Now, I know those of you in Friendswood were tripped on this. Some parts of Friendswood and Alvin. Right now, the circulation is going to skirt to this. It looks like it's going to skirt to the south of Highway 6 and 35. But if you are anywhere in this polygon and maybe your smartphone tripped and said tornado warning, as Kevin just mentioned, get into your safe place because we have a confirmed tornado on the ground that is getting very close to Highway 35, just to the north of FM 2917, approaching FM 2403. So let me go ahead and take the extra information off, and we will go ahead and draw another track on this. The new scan just came in, still seeing the debris. And let me go ahead and turn on my tools here. Okay, so we're going to say that this is going at 40 miles per hour, a little faster, just so that we don't make you think you have more time than you do. If it maintains this heading right here, this is where we expect it to be in about 15 minutes. This is going to be around Quell West Road, where it intersects FM 2403. Okay, this is downstream here is Alvin Community College. So ACC, you are included in this warning and in the potential path of this debris. Walt Disney Elementary School, you are also in the path of this debris. So if you live anywhere near New Life Missionary Baptist Church, Walt Disney Elementary School, Alvin Community College, you need to be hunkering down immediately because we have a radar confirmed tornado. That blue that you see in this circular fashion that's crossing Serenity Drive, that is the debris of a tornado. And so the radar is detecting objects that are not uniform and spherical. It says, okay, there's something else flying around here. That is debris. And so we very likely believe that some buildings and structures have been hit by this tornado. And this is probably the next scan that comes in. This will either be right over 35 or just crossing it. So again, downstream, Walt Disney Elementary School. We have Alvin Community College. If you live anywhere in the vicinity of that, we want you to get into your safe place. Lowest level of the floor, lowest level of the building, interior room, many walls between you and the outside air as possible. Make sure that you are hunkered down in a small room like that, bathroom, pantry, closet, maybe under a stairwell, and you want to get the family, the pets in there, and bring some pillows with you if you can find them, and then put them over your head and lay low to the ground until this storm passes on over, because this is causing damage. We don't yet know how strong the tornado is. All we know is that it is producing debris being detected by the radar. And we also have another tornado warning ongoing right now up in Liberty County. Kevin, what's the latest on that one?
Yeah, while the signature on the storm that you're watching certainly stands out, you can't dismiss the other ongoing tornado warning. If there's a storm on the ground, if you're in this other one, I will tell you right now, there is a tornado on the ground, and you absolutely need to be in that safe spot as this storm continues making its way off to the east, Travis.
And Kevin, this is now over State Highway 35, and it does look like it is growing in size and intensity. So this is becoming a larger and more destructive tornado as it tracks through Brazoria County. Again, immediately downstream are the neighborhoods and the buildings that are around Alvin Community College, New Life Missionary Baptist Church, Walt Disney Elementary School, Mustang Road, in the path, the direct path of this tornado. And we are detecting that there is a debris signature here. And when I look at how wide this is, when I go along its longest point, it's about a mile and a half wide. So I believe this is a large and dangerous tornado on the ground because as we look at the velocity signature, and I'll go ahead and I'll just pan it back and forth so you can kind of get a feel for the general motion. You see how there's this larger area growing, and the bright greens are getting larger and larger. So this is the general track it's taken over the last 10 minutes. So this is moving its way now. It is east of 35. So it looks like the core of this is going to miss the core of Alvin, but we know there are still many in the path here in parts of Alvin on the southeast side of the community. community that are in the direct path of this storm. So let me go ahead and do this again. I'll draw another track. Let me get back on the debris here. I'll turn the tornado warning polygon off, and I'm going to draw a tracker on this. And notice this is approaching the National Weather Service radar site. We've got a very good view of this from Dickinson and League City. And so as this continues to track its way off to the northeast, I'm going to draw this, and we'll go ahead and extend it all the way to the radar site in case this does hold together. So I know our friends at the National Weather Service know it's coming their way, and this will be in Algoa around 114 based on this track, and then kind of looking at what's downstream from where the debris is, last observed at FM 2403 near County Road 424 and Morning Dove Street. It's probably already over New Life Missionary Baptist Church and Walt Disney Elementary. So as we continue to grow downstream, this will eventually cross Highway 6 in the vicinity of Thompson's Road. I'm not seeing any more points of interest, as we call them, popping up, but we're going to hit a residential area here in Algoa coming up here in about 15 minutes. So you got about 15 minutes of time. That line that you see is where this should be 15 minutes from now. And then 30 minutes from now, this is going to be near FM 517 and Lakeview Boulevard, Oakview Drive. So this is going to be very close to this residential community here, approaching, what was this that popped up? Pine Drive Baptist Christian School, Mainland Community Church. You are downstream. So if you've seen that radar site there in Dickinson, you see that kind of looks like a golf ball on a tee. That is the radar from the National Weather Service office, and it is headed directly in that direction. It looks like a new scan just came in, and perhaps it's moving a little bit more to the south and east than where I had it. Okay, so there it is. And this is the debris signature, this blue area that you see approaching Mustang Road. So this is what we are seeing. And when I sample the wind speeds here, so we can go ahead and we can sample what the wind is doing. So these winds right here are detected moving towards the radar at 65 miles per hour. So it does look like the circulation, perhaps, at least according to what the radar has been detecting, is slowing down a little bit. But that doesn't mean there's not a tornado on the ground by any means, because we still see the debris on the radar. So there it is, the debris from that tornado-warned storm moving through the south side of Alvin at this very time. Kevin, what you got?
I want to give you an update from what I'm seeing in contact with the National Weather Service. This is according here to the emergency management for the city of Angleton, saying multiple homes destroyed in Liverpool. This has not been confirmed by us independently, but that's what we're hearing from the emergency manager, and that is essentially right in the path of where we're seeing this debris signature, where it came from, and now it continues off to the northeast. Yeah, and on days like today, we're in a chat with the National Weather Service, with the emergency managers, as Kevin mentioned, and they are trained professionals, those emergency managers, and so they're sending us some solid information that we can go on. So we can take that to the bank right now, that multiple homes sadly have been destroyed in Liverpool. We don't know the extent of what they mean by destroyed, whether that is the homes have walls down, roofs missing, or completely just knocked off their foundation. But this is definitely a very serious tornado that is crossing between Liverpool and Alvin, now closer to Alvin and approaching Highway 6 just to the east of State Highway 35. So we still see the debris signature on the radar. It was a little more defined as it came a little bit as it was west of 35. But definitely this has caused some significant damage. Hopefully this thing will go back up soon, but it is going to be moving across a populated area on the southeast side of Alvin, and in about 15 minutes should be crossing Highway 6 there. So that is the latest on that tornado-warned storm that is down in Brazoria County. So it's kind of a little messy here, but this is the debris, that blue circle that you see right here. That is the debris that has crossed 35. And when I go down and zoom real fast, just look at some points of interest real fast, and then I'll get right over to you, Kevin. But this is has come right over Walt Disney Elementary School, R.L. Stevenson Elementary School, have maybe perhaps taken a direct hit from this tornado. Kevin, what are you seeing? Yeah, the most important thing is if you are in the path of that storm that Travis is tracking, you need to be in your safe spot. But I'm also monitoring other tornado warnings, other active storms. And right now, Travis, if you take a look at this storm that had a tornado warning earlier here, all that being said, the most important thing is that we have an active tornado warning, a confirmed tornado on the ground with confirmed damage to structures, to homes. This is ongoing, and this is gradually making its way into Galveston County right now. Travis, if you are in the path of this, you need to be in your safe spot, and I cannot stress enough, you want to stay off the roads in this area.
Yeah, and what's printing out right now, Kevin, is a new severe thunderstorm warning for northern Liberty County and southeastern Polk County. So we'll keep a watchful eye on that, but our concern right now are the active tornado warnings that we do have. And so the one over Alvin, we are still seeing signs of rotation here. In fact, I'm seeing a new debris signature popping up. Let me see what the radar, sometimes we can get some false readings closer to the radar site. I'm not convinced that that's actually is a debris signature, but we do have a confirmed debris signature that just came across in the vicinity of R.L. Stevenson Elementary School and Walt Disney Elementary School. And when I go to the more traditional radar view, let's see, it looks like we're getting an update on this tornado warning. Let's see what we have right here, Kevin.
I've got it here. Damaging tornado and quarter-size hail. A confirmed tornado located over Hillcrest or near Alvin, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. Again, this is a confirmed tornado. As we mentioned, the National Weather Service in full agreement.
Yeah. Hate to see that. So we have multiple tornadoes that have been confirmed so far today and confirmed that they have produced some fairly significant damage. So this is getting very close to the radar site. And one of the ironic things about the way the radar works is that as you get closer to the radar site, there's a little bit of a dead zone or a hole that occurs very close to the radar site. So soon we're not going to have the best look at what this storm is actually doing as it gets closer and closer to the radar site in Dickinson and League City. So there is the circulation. That is still looking like a tornado on the ground to me, Kevin. Looking at how bright the colors are, the blues and the reds that are coming together right over County Road 160 in the vicinity of West Zephyr Road. And so this again is where the last circulation was. The circulation was last detected, and this is moving off in a northeasterly direction. And when I go back to our debris mode, we still see there is that ball of blue right there. Okay, so this is the debris from the tornado. This is giving us an approximate location of where the tornado is located as it moves off in that northeasterly direction. So this is going to continue moving towards Highway 6, and eventually it looks like this is going to probably just go along. I can't tell that there's two roads merged together right there, but it's basically going to come right here. Now we're seeing the debris actually go a little farther to the south, Kevin. I wonder if this is what we call a right turner as it moves a little more to the south there. This is County Road 160 at the intersection of County Road 164. And so this is eventually going to reconnect with Mustang Road, it looks like, at Highway 6. So this is on the southeast side of Alvin. If you live west of 35 along Highway 6, you are in the clear from the circulating part of this storm. That circulation is east of 35, approaching Highway 6, moving in between Algoa and Alvin at this time. And Santa Fe, I see you off in the distance. We will watch this in case it were to take a turn your way. I don't think that's going to happen, but certainly keep a very watchful eye on this one. And again, as I go back and forth, that blue ball that you see on the left side, the bottom left side of the screen, and then it comes up northeastward. That is the debris from the tornado, and we are seeing no signs right now that this is off the ground. And so here's another view I can do to kind of go back and forth and show you the spin there as it crossed 35, the reds and the blue, the reds and the greens coming together. So this still is, and this is a different view, and I kind of want to go to this view for a little bit because as we get closer to the Dickinson radar, we're going to start to lose the best view of what this looks like. So again, it is in the vicinity of Highway 6. It is moving off in a northeasterly direction. I'd say it's about time we go ahead and draw another track on this. I just want to get a feel for the motion here. So it still kind of has that east-northeasterly motion to it. And I will go ahead now and turn on my tools, and we will draw that cone to get the latest feel for where this is tracking next. So kind of moving off in this direction towards Dickinson. Let's say that it holds together, right? So if this holds together, where we have that dot marking Dickinson at Highway 3, it'd be there around 1:30. So you got about 15 minutes to go there.
And Travis, on the way to Dickinson, it's crossing over the Gulf Freeway.
Right.
If you have any family members who are trying to get on the Gulf Freeway today, tell them to hold up. You do not want to be in the path of this storm. Stay at home, stay off the roads, in particular if you are out ahead of one of these storms, especially this one here that is making its way into Galveston County, where we have a confirmed tornado on the ground and confirmed damage with that storm.
Yeah.
Now, just getting the latest from the National Weather Service on the Liberty County tornado, that has been allowed to expire. However, I mentioned there is another storm in the area that we're watching here for the potential to spin up. Right now, that is just a secondary concern compared to what we're seeing farther south. So I will keep my eye on that Liberty County storm. We're going to monitor that and any other storm possible. But right now, we've got a tornado likely on the ground, and that's the focus.
And it's about to cross Highway 6, and at a minimum, let's say 10 minutes from now, it could be crossing the Gulf Freeway. So as you mentioned, Kevin, it's a great observation. This is where we all work together as a team to help save lives. If you've got loved ones that you know are on the roadway in Galveston County, give them a call right now, especially if they're traveling towards along Highway 6 or I-45, Highway 3. Let them know we have a confirmed destructive tornado on the ground that has already destroyed homes in Liverpool, and I do not see any signs at this time that this circulation is getting any weaker or starting to dissipate. If anything, it's getting a little bit stronger as it approaches Algoa, and the next stop is going to be Interstate 45. And we know a lot of folks might be on the road, traveling for the holidays, unaware of what is going on, thinking you're just heading to the friend's house to watch a football game or something of that nature, going out shopping. This is a serious situation as this is about to cross more populated areas and roadways, and a vehicle is not the place to be when it comes to crossing paths with a tornado. They can easily get flipped over by those strong winds. So this is a serious situation. We want you to call your friends, your loved ones, your neighbors, family, and let them know that this is about to cross through the heart of the midsection of Galveston County. At this time, I think this will stay well to the south of Friendswood and most of League City, but we'll keep a watchful eye. Directly in the path right now is Alvin, Algoa, and then soon it's going to be into Dickinson if it holds together. And these have been holding together for a longer period of time than the typical tornadoes, well, like what we had 2 days ago, the day after Christmas. Those were typical Southeast Texas tornadoes. They drop down very briefly. They're smaller. They're on the weaker end of the scale. These signatures are not our typical tornadoes. These are the kinds that we rarely see, where you have these very large circulations that are throwing down large tornadoes, creating debris signatures on the radar and staying on the ground for a considerable longer amount of time. So this is the most concerning one that we have right now. Kevin, keep an eye on the rest of that line in case you spot anything else. And I do want to quickly pull out the view just to show you the general progress of both of these lines. Oh no, a new report just came out. Multiple homes destroyed between Alvin and Liverpool near County Road 191A. Substantial debris on parts of State Highway 35. So this is a very serious situation. A large and destructive tornado is on the ground. We have significant damage coming in now being reported by this tornado bearing down on Algoa, crossing State Highway 6, a very serious situation based on the damage reports that are coming in. So again, these are not our typical tornadoes. I know some folks around here say, oh, a tornado that usually just knocks over a fence, right? Not in this case. These are home destroying tornadoes that are coming through. And if you are downstream in Dickinson, it is time to get into that safe place.
And that's exactly what I was going to mention. Dickinson not under the tornado warning right now, but we can tell you that is next. As this National Weather Service extends the tornado warning, which they will eventually do, Dickinson is going to be under the gun. So if you are watching and if you are in or around Dickinson, even from League City here, it's time to start getting your plans in place. You want to know exactly where to go once you are under that tornado warning, and that is the lowest level of your home, away from windows, with as many walls between you and that storm as humanly possible. This is a storm that has already shown repeated damage. We've seen multiple confirmed tornadoes today, and I'm not seeing any reason why I would expect this to just fall apart over the next few minutes, Travis.
Yeah, and Kevin, we're at the place now where we're starting to lose the effectiveness of the debris signature, because as the radar beam is closer to the actual radar, it's hitting objects lower at the ground, thinking it's seeing debris, so it's going to be difficult. But we still have our velocity mode, and that is showing very clearly where that circulation is. This is Alvin, so this is east of 35. There is the circulation approaching the radar site in Dickinson, crossing Highway 6 at this time. And so we're going to see potentially some significant damage on this section of Highway 6 between Alvin and over Algoa near Santa Fe. So between Santa Fe and Alvin, we have Algoa. That is exactly where this is crossing through right now. And because this signature is going to get warped a little bit more as it gets closer to that radar site, I'm going to switch now to a different radar site. So what we can do is we are blessed with multiple radars here in Southeast Texas, including the ones that we have also installed here at ABC 13. And oops, I went to the wrong thing. I want to go to the velocity mode, and we're going to go to the Hobby Airport one. And this, I think, is going to give us the better view right now. And as I sample just how strong these winds are, going 50 miles in one direction and 30 miles per hour in the other direction, this is a very large circulation that has popped up, that is swirling its way over Highway 6. And so as I go back, you can see there's the circulation, and notice how the colors get brighter and brighter. And if anything, this is showing signs, Kevin, at least by the radar that services Hobby Airport, that this is either maintaining its strength or getting a little bit stronger as it crosses State Highway 6. So next thing I'm going to do is go back over here and draw a future track, and we are going to look at what is going on with, what points of interest are what points of interest are kind of in the path of this storm. So let me go here at 40 miles per hour. We're going to assume that this is going faster than what we had, just in case. Okay, so there's the track. And as I zoom down now, the broad circulation, the large circulation, is along Highway 6, just to the north of McDonald Road, getting ready to cross Tower Road. And as we zoom down more, we might start to see some points of interest popping up, things like schools, hospitals. I'm not seeing any of that right now, but this is a very residential area coming through. And eventually, this looks like it's going to cross the Gulf Freeway if the circulation maintains itself around Mainland Community Church and Pine Drive Baptist Christian School. Okay, so this will be crossing the vicinity of I-45 in Dickinson, so that you are in the direct path of this circulation at this time, and you're getting really close here in Santa Fe as well. So on the west side of Santa Fe, near Arcadia First Baptist Church, Santa Fe High School, you also, the circulation appears to be right over or near Santa Fe High School, so there could be some significant winds going on for those that live around Santa Fe High School as this continues to move off in that northeasterly direction. So I'm going to go backwards and forwards, and you can see that circulation has basically crossed Highway 6 at this time in the vicinity of Santa Fe High School. So on the west side of Santa Fe, this circulation has crossed over. And I'm not going to totally write off the debris signature just yet, but it is getting difficult to see. And it looks like perhaps a new tornado warning just came down. So this now is going to start tripping all those smartphones in Dickinson. Again, they are calling this a confirmed tornado. That warning runs until 2 p.m. Kevin, what other deets are coming in on that one?
Yeah, a tornado-producing storm located near Santa Fe, moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. Mentioning, of course, the potential for damaging tornado, quarter-sized hail as well. This is still a radar-confirmed tornado at this point. But the big news here is that now we've extended this warning farther to the north and east, and we've expanded it as well, so that this warning should last here until 2 o'clock. So a longer duration, and of course a greater area now impacted by this as well. You're talking about Galveston County here, Dickinson, just on the southern side of League City, and this goes all the way to Galveston Bay to San Leon. They are now under that tornado warning as well through 2 o'clock. So Baycliff, Dickinson, San Leon, Santa Fe, all under the gun here for this storm that still has that structure, still has the rotation. I've had to turn off the lightning because the lightning is so frequent you can't even look at the structure of the storm. That is the kind of storm that we're dealing with here. You've got the potential for hail, but of course the big concern is that rotation. So let's flip through here some of these different velocity scans and take a look at what we're seeing. That is pretty crystal clear that you've got some strong winds ongoing, and that's where those two tornado warnings overlap. So that is where the storm is right now. It is just to the north and northwest of Santa Fe, and it's moving off to the east and northeast towards Dickinson. Stay off of 45, stay off of the roads in Galveston County here, up and down the Gulf Freeway. If you are in Dickinson, now is the time to get to your safe place. If you're in the north side of Santa Fe, now is the time to be in your safe spot as well. Looks like this is just about to cross over Cemetery Road, gradually making its way off to the north and east around Carolyn Street. And as Travis likes to say, this is just a moment in time. So where the tornado is even a little bit out ahead of where you could start to see some of these debris and rotation signatures, Travis.
Yeah, and Kevin, the one that's going to give us the fastest updates on the low-level circulation, that is going to be the Hobby Airport radar that's located closer to Pearland. So this is the view from there, and there is the circulation. We'll get updates maybe every minute or so versus every few minutes from the National Weather Service radar. Cemetery Road is next in line for this circulation to cross just to the south of FM 17. And so this is going to be continuing to move off in this general direction towards the Gulf Freeway in the vicinity of Hughes Road is where this is coming. So this is holding together. And when I go and change the view here to the traditional radar view, I want to show you what we're seeing from the radar that services Hobby Airport. And I too, Kevin, will turn off the lightning. I'm even going to turn off the tornado warning because we can very clearly see this curly structure. So we have winds flowing in this direction. That is what we call a hook echo, and that might even be what we call a debris ball, which is where there's so much debris wrapped up in the storm that the radar can it looks like there's rain occurring right there when it may just be debris that is actually occurring. So this is a classic tornado signature. Again, these are not the normal, typical tornadoes we have, like the ones on Thursday that come down for just a little bit, and they're usually smaller and they don't cause a whole lot of devastation. These are a different breed today. These are much larger tornadoes we're observing. We're getting those debris signatures. They're staying on the ground for a long time as well. And so on the bottom right corner of your screen, this is the Gulf Freeway at FM 517 is what it looks like. No video stream there, but we're going to keep scanning those TransStar cameras that we have scattered there through Galveston County to see if one of those cameras perhaps can get us a visual on that tornado that we believe is still on the ground based on what we're seeing on the velocity. Now, it's getting so close to the radar site that has the debris signature ability that it's almost becoming unuseful because the radar beam so low to the ground here, as it hits things like tall buildings and trees, it thinks it's seeing debris when it's really not. So we're kind of losing the ability to detect the debris from that sense. But this is the tornado warned storm that is moving northeastward towards Dickinson. And so I will turn the tornado warning back on just to get you the latest information. Again, it has been extended all the way out into the western shore of Galveston Bay. Communities included in the path are Bay Cliff, Dickinson, San Leon, and Santa Fe. So this is bearing down on Santa Fe right now. And when I go back to the velocity view that I think is going to give us the best view out of Hobby Airport, there you can see very well-defined circulation. It may not give us the best view, but it's going to give us the fastest updates here because this is where it was at the last scan. So very soon, this will be crossing Highway 40, I-45 just south of FM 517. So Dickinson, if you're not in your safe spot yet, now is the time to get there. And again, we want to make sure that everyone is helping us out on a day like today, getting the word out, checking up on your loved ones, your neighbors, your family, your friends. Maybe you're out and about watching us on the stream right now. It's maybe perfect strangers that are in the path of this as you're out and about. Let them know that this is a serious storm that has destroyed several homes in Brazoria County, now in Galveston County. It has crossed Highway 6. It is tracking on the south side of FM 517, and it is going to work its way into Dickinson here pretty soon. So this is a confirmed tornado on the ground. And again, these are the larger, more destructive tornadoes that we rarely see around here. So I really hope that everyone takes this seriously. Get into that lowest floor of your building, an interior room. And if you happen to live in a manufactured home or a mobile home and you're still far enough away from this storm, maybe you're east of I-45 right now, if you've got some other place that you can seek shelter in, do so now, because most of the damage reports we've had so far are of mobile homes getting destroyed. It's not because these tornadoes are attracting mobile homes, it's because mobile homes aren't built to the same standards. Usually they're up on cinder blocks, they may not be anchored to the ground, they get more likely to flip over and get tossed around by those winds. So you want to get into the sturdiest building that you can find, lowest level, away from the windows, the walls that touch the outside air, and get low to the ground in that interior room, your bathroom, your pantry, your closet, and just hang out there with the family and the pets. So that's for those of you in Santa Fe and in Dickinson. Right now, as this is bearing down on the north side of Santa Fe, and then it's going to work its way there. Somewhere between Dickinson and Lamarck is where it looks like this is going to be working its way through once it crosses to the other side of I-45. So again, a very serious situation. And what I want to do next is I want to go ahead and do another track. And based on what I'm seeing, I believe that we are definitely seeing a tornado still on the ground. This is right over Cemetery Road, Lago Circle Drive, 4th Street. So again, this is on the north side of Santa Fe, where we have this circulation just south of FM 17. And as I go backwards, you can get a feel for the motion here as this is swirling its way in that east-northeasterly direction. And when I sample the wind speeds here being directly measured by the radar, we're getting 60-mile-per-hour winds in a very large area. So this is a large circulation. And if I go over to the National Weather Service radar to kind of get a feel for the winds that it is detecting, we are also sampling those wind speeds here pretty strong, 65, 70 miles per hour. So at a minimum, if the tornado was no longer on the ground, it is likely still producing very strong winds. Now, it looks like we have a new report that came in, but that's just a hail report. We're not going to be concerned with that right now. Let me go ahead and just pull back real fast to give you the broad overview. This is the only circulating storm we have left at this time, and I do want to show you that we do have other storms out there. Okay, but the tornadic storm right now is over Galveston County, and then we do have a storm that had a tornado warning over northern Liberty County. That warning no longer in effect, and there is this second line coming in from the west. We will be watching this one mainly for hail and high winds. We think it's this line right here that has the main threat for tornadoes at this time, and the main one that's producing the tornado, the only one at this time, is the one that is tracking right through Galveston County. So it's very close to the radar site at this time, so it kind of can sometimes give us a little bit of a distorted view, although it will sample the true winds. So when I flip over to the Hobby Airport site, we kind of see that larger circulation still intact. So these two radars here are confirming what one another are seeing, that circulation is south of 517. Very strong winds at a minimum are gusting through there, the neighborhoods there between Santa Fe and Dickinson, and it is going to be crossing I-45 very soon. Meteorologist Kevin Roth, thank you for your service this morning. He's rotating out. Meteorologist Elise Smith is now in the Weather Center. And take a look at the picture right now at the Gulf Freeway and Holland Road. I'm glad to see there's not a lot of vehicles on the road, but that is not what we want to see, that there are people in the path of this storm. This is I-45 and Gulf at Hughes Road, immediately in the path of this circulation. And so, so let's see, we just got an update. So let me click on what the latest is right there. Elise, are you mic'd in?
I am.
Okay, what are there any additional details that are coming out on that printout that you can give us right now?
The tornado warning for northeastern Brazoria County is canceled, so they are in the clear. The National Weather Service is just trimming this tornado warning for Galveston and Harris County. So you can see the circulation there. It's about to cross I-45 there, just to the southwest of Dickinson. So
yeah, it's on. You can see the camera right now, right? It is on 45.
Absolutely.
What else are you seeing in the printout right there? Just go ahead and read it off to us.
The tornadic thunderstorm, which prompted the warning, has moved out of the warned area. They're really just trimming the warning as of right now. But the warning is still in effect until 2 p.m., but it is a confirmed tornado now for that warned storm in Galveston County, again, just to the southwest of Dickinson. That is the only update we have in this particular morning, Travis.
Yeah,
otherwise, that it's a confirmed tornado.
Yeah, it's been confirmed because of all the homes that it's destroyed along the way, and it looks like it is still likely producing significant wind damage. Take a look at this view right here. The rain is just coming in sideways, and again, what we're seeing, look, debris starting to fly.
There's debris.
There's some debris that just flew across the highway. Not sure what that was, but you can see this is sideways rain right here. And I pray to God that we don't see anything more significant happening at this time, because these kinds of winds can easily toss an 18-wheeler or a high-profile vehicle of that nature. You can just see the curtains of rain that are crossing I-45 at this time. So we can tell by how large the circulation is that there are at least 60-mile-per-hour winds just rotating around this very broad circulation. And there very well may still be a tornado on the ground. Sometimes what happens with these large circulations is the whole circulation is basically on the ground, producing EF0 to EF1 type damage, and there may be some pockets of more intense damage occurring in the center, and the visibility is really getting reduced right here. And I guarantee you these folks right now are wondering what in the world is going on. So again, if you have loved ones in Galveston County, make sure they are aware of what is going on. We will stay on this image as long as we have it. This is in Dickinson, I-45, the Gulf Freeway at Holland Road. So this is south of League City, in the vicinity of Dickinson is where this circulation is crossing I-45, and the curtains of rain just continue to blow sideways around the very strong circulation that is crossing. Now we're seeing the visibility improve a little bit, and let's see, is that the funnel? Okay, not sure. Seeing what would look like.
At the top portion of the screen.
Notice how the winds all of a sudden calm down?
Yeah.
And now we're seeing them pick back up again. Hard to tell because it's such a large circulation. This might be the outer edge of the circulation, just producing those intense gusts of wind at this time. So tornado warning continues until 2 o'clock here for Galveston County. It looks like that circulation is right over Hughes Road. I'm not sure if we can flip to that view just to kind of see back and forth which one's going to give us the better view of what is going on. It looks like that. Well, that is good. See all the people right there? I don't believe this is a live image. They have parked underneath the freeway freeway trying to seek shelter from what just came through. But notice how calmer it is right there. Based on what I'm seeing on the radar right now, it does look like the center of this circulation is in the vicinity of Hughes Road. This is Holland Road back here again. Visibility appears to be improving once more. And let's see if we get a change in the wind direction at all. It still looks like that's crossing the highway from right to left across the screen. But very strong winds in this circulation. And this is now moving into the heart of Dickinson at this time. So all of Dickinson needs to be hunkered down in their safe spot, bottom floor, away from those exterior walls, and wait for this storm to pass you by. Again, at a minimum, if there's no longer a tornado on the ground, there's at a minimum some very strong winds that are passing through, and 60 mile per hour is what we've been detecting on the radar in a very broad sense. So let's go ahead and Elise, if you want to go ahead and give us some of those points of interest that are in the path, some of those schools and other places of interest that are in the path of this circulation right now. Let's go back over to Elise in the Weather Center.
Right. If we want to go over to Max 1 right now, you can see here even 13 alert radar is picking up potentially on where exactly that tornado is. So this tornado now is going to be bearing down closer to John E. Barber Middle School. Then thereafter continuing to move closer to Texas 3 in Dickinson. McAdams Junior High School. That is going to be next up with this particular tornado moving again about northeast at about 20 miles per hour. So Dickinson, you need to be in your safe place right now. Hopefully you're texting friends, family. They need to be inside, lowest level of whatever building or structure you're in, away from windows. Put as many walls as you can between you and the outside as possible. Then I'll go ahead and put a little track on where we're seeing this. The good thing is the 13 alert radar, or the National Weather Service radar, it's right near that site as well.
What you're noticing, we talked about this earlier when Kevin was here, there's a dead zone because
is.
this is literally on top of the radar that serves Southeast Texas. So let's go ahead and flip over to the Hobby Airport view so that we can get a better view of the entire circulation. So Elise, go ahead and start using that view as well. That'll give us a better view of the entire circulation, a very large circulation right there that is now crossing Highway 3 in Dickinson. And you can go ahead and draw that track if you want. Yeah.
Yep.
And we've been cheating it a little bit, making it go the track a little faster just to give people, we don't want to give a false sense of security in how much time that we've got. But this is the large circulation that is right along Hughes Road, crossing Highway 3 in Dickinson.
Yeah, right here, FM 517, and then it's going to be closer to FM. It's going to pass just to the south of FM 463. So let me zoom out a little bit and then put the track right back on where 13 alert radar is picking up on that potential tornadic signature. So Bay Cliff, you now need to be in your safe place, inside, away from windows. And this is going to be moving towards you in about 5 minutes. I know it says a 146. That's in about 7-8 minutes here, but I want you to think that this storm could be moving towards you faster at this hour. And then from Bay Cliff, it's going to be near East Bayshore Drive, just along the edge of Galveston Bay. And then the storm is going to move over water. So again, you can see there is that circulation. I'll point it out right here. There is where 13 alert radar is picking up on where that tornado could be. There is the circulation on radar, the reds and the greens coming together, showing that counterclockwise motion. And then that tornado would be right under there. So right now it looks like that tornado might be just north of FM 517, headed to the northeast, closer to FM 464. Then we'll be crossing Texas 146, likely within the next 2 to 3 minutes before moving off to Bay Cliff. Travis.
And Elise, it is very rare that we detect these large circulations. And when I put the loop over here on Max 3, you can very clearly see this giant swirl that is working its way. It's now crossed 45 and is now over Highway 3. And I don't know if we have any TransStar cameras along Highway 3 or 146, but 146 is the next major thoroughfare that this is going to cross on the south side of Kemah, closer to those of you in San Leon. You are next. So everyone in Dickinson hopefully is hunkered down. Those of you in San Leon and Kemah, hunker down as well, because you will be the next to be impacted by this large circulation. And we are assuming at this point there is a tornado on the ground. It may be a very large circulation as well, based on what we are detecting. And those bright yellows that you see right over Highway 3, those are wind speeds of 60 to 70 miles per hour over a very large area. So at a minimum, we are going to be detecting some very widespread wind damage, okay? Whether it's from a tornado or just the broad circulation itself remains to be determined. But But this particular tornado has a history of destroying homes as it crossed through Liverpool and Alvin, and it very well may be doing the same thing now as it crosses through Dickinson. And so it has crossed Highway 3, still some very strong winds though on the outer part of that circulation. So this might be a situation where the strong winds last for a good 5, 10, 15 minutes as that very large circulation is moving off to the northeast at 20 to 25 miles per hour. Getting a lot closer now to 146. And so when I stop the view, we're going to pull down now and get some points of interest on here. So this is is bearing down right now on Dickinson High School and Barber Middle School. I've spoken to Barber Middle School before. Kids, if you're listening, you remember that talk I gave you. Remember your tornado safety. You go inside, you duck and hide. And so make sure that you're in that interior room, as Elise just mentioned, away from those exterior walls, the lowest floor of that building. So very strong winds are now crossing FM 517 and moving towards Bay Cliff. So Bay Cliff, you are next in line for this very large circulation. You don't have much time left to get down and hunker down before those winds really start to pick up. So in terms of what's coming downstream, it's over Dickinson High School and Barber Middle School at this time, and then it's going to be hitting a power plant there in the vicinity of Bay Cliff, and then we'll be over Bay Cliff around Bayshore Church, and then it gets out into Galveston Bay. So this is going to eventually find its way into Galveston Bay, and we will see if it holds together as it crosses the bays, and eventually the storm will find its way into Chambers County. But potentially a very serious situation going on right now with this potential tornado. And when I go back to the radar that services Hobby Airport, that'll give us a little bit of a better view here of what we are seeing, because it's right over the radar from the National Weather Service. And so it just kind of looks like this big blob of heavy rain. But when we turn on that velocity signature, that's what tells us that there is a very large circulation, and this is a radar confirmed tornado at this time. I also hopped into the chat asking if the weather service is okay. I've gotten 6 thumbs up so far, so they're really busy. They're working hard. They tell me that they're good to go, and they're going to keep serving, even though they're getting hit by this circulation as well as it bears down on their radar site. Elise Smith is in the Weather Center as well. Elise, what are you seeing right now from your view?
Well, it looks like this thunderstorm, this tornadic thunderstorm, is about to move into Bay Cliff at this hour. So again, the tightest part of the circulation looks like it's about to hop over Texas 146 and into Bay Cliff. Checking in on the time, that is the approximate timing. We said about 1:45 for Bay Cliff. That's when you need to be in your safe space here. So again, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, service a couple different radars here so we can just see the approximation of where that circulation is and where we could potentially be seeing that tornado crossover. So generally speaking, it's right here, but I'm guessing the tornado is going to be a little farther to the northeast of that. So zooming in here again, this thunderstorm likely about to move over Texas 146. So these neighborhoods here just to the south of Bay Cliff, you need to be in your safe space. So this includes portions near towns and homes near Avenue B, West Bayshore Drive, just along Galveston Bay. It looks like Kemah, you might be in the clear just because the strongest part of this storm is going to pass to your south. However, you are likely going to be hit with a lot of lightning, some heavy rainfall and gusty winds, potentially some hail around this thunderstorm. San Leon, depending on where this thunderstorm tracks, if you live farther north of San Leon, closer to Avenue J, this might be a close call for you as well. So looking at a couple different radar sites again, as we're getting in some new pictures minute by minute here with 13 alert radar. Looks like this is the best picture I've got right now, or nope, that one. Yep.
And at least this is starting to pull away from the National Weather Service radar. And so as I'm looking at it, we're seeing a large area of 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. So this is at the very minimum producing a significant wind damage. It's a very large circulation. We actually saw this, Elise, if we recall, with the Pasadena Deer Park tornado back in January of 2023. We had a very large circulation on radar. Most of the damage was EF0, EF1. But when we look at how large this circulation is, over on Max 3, I'm going to draw just kind of how large the wind field is. It's about 3 miles wide, this circulation. So it is a very large circulation. And these bright yellows that you see, those are the 65 to 70 mile per hour winds right over FM 517, moving directly away from the radar. And these are moving towards the radar. And we just got a new scan that came in right there. And so it looks like this has now, the center part of it has just north of 517, right over FM 34. 36. So this is about to cross 146, and we are still detecting some very strong winds here. When I go ahead and get my tool out to sample some of these higher wind speeds, look at that, 119 miles per hour. So this is a large destructive tornado still on the ground to get wind speeds of that range, 95 miles per hour. So we are definitely sampling the core of the strongest winds just a few miles away from the National Weather Service radar here at the border of Dickinson and League City. So these are some significant winds that are crossing FM 517, a large and destructive tornado on the ground about to cross 146. Do we have any cameras in that vicinity? I can't tell what's up on the screen right now. This is, let's see, NASA Road 1 at State Highway 146. Okay.
Looks like the roads are pretty wet there, so the storm might have already passed.
Yeah, it sounds like we've lost the power to a lot of the cameras in that vicinity, which we would expect with this kind of a very large and damaging circulation. And just to give you the broader view, and we'll put it in motion so you can kind of get a feel for where you are. Texas City, you are in the clear. Santa Fe, the storm has passed you by. I know you took a direct hit in parts of town, but the storm has now passed you. And when we put it into motion over the last hour, you can see that circulation that has now emerged on the other side of the radar site there in League City and Dickinson. And there it is, a very large tornado is still on the ground and getting ready to cross 146. It's coming on the south side of Bay Cliff at this time, and then we'll cross Bayshore Drive before it gets out there into Galveston Bay. So
if you live in the northern part of San Leon, you need to be in your safe place as well. It looks like this storm is really going to split the difference there, closer to San Leon than Kemah, but Bay Cliff, this storm is right on top of you right now. And Travis, going frame by frame in our debris tracker, it looks like we do have a small debris signature here that comes up in some of the frames. I'll try to point it out here. That was just north of FM 517. I'm not sure if that is exactly in line. It's difficult because we're so close to the radar right now, but that does pop up in an area where I would assume to believe that we potentially have the debris signature of that tornado, but we can go back to the velocity signature, and that debris signature matches with where that velocity signature is as well. So as you mentioned, this storm likely going to pass just in the southern part of Bay Cliff and just north of San Leon. So again, Avenue J, 29th Street, there is right over that power plant, as you mentioned, right near Bayshore Park. Looks like this tornado is going to pass right by there to the south of Grand Avenue, to the south of Avenue E. This storm now approaching likely 10th Street as well, potentially then moving over Galveston Bay within the next probably 5 to 10 minutes. So this storm will be over water soon, Travis. But until then, this is a big concern for all of our communities along Galveston Bay from Bay Cliff to San Leon.
Absolutely. Everyone there needs to be in your safe place, and we will hope and pray for the best as this storm passes through. Again, a very large and destructive tornado is on the ground right now over State Highway 146 and about to cross West Bayshore Drive. So Bay Cliff is taking, unfortunately, a direct hit from this large circulation. This is the tornado warned polygon. Here is Bay Cliff 146 FM 517. Very strong winds rotating in this general vicinity. And so let me go ahead and pull the polygon off real fast because it kind of obscures the colors a little bit. And again, I want to show you the general motion here that we've observed. So it's rare that we see these large circulations, but these are the kinds of tornadoes we've been getting today. And so it's moving through about 25, 30 miles per hour. But because the area of winds is so large, those gusty winds are going to bear down on these communities for some time. Latest wind speeds detected directly by the radar, very close to the site, showing winds of widespread 60, 65 miles per hour. And so those are the winds that are going away from the radar site at this time. When we go over to the Hobby Airport site, we can also show you that it is detecting the same type of circulation. And so both radars confirming that we have a large circulation and a large damaging destructive tornado on the ground. So this is now cleared out of Highway 3. It's cleared out of I-45, but I want you to be wary of traveling these routes. We likely have power lines down and debris scattered on the roadways. So this is going to be very treacherous driving through these parts of Galveston and Brazoria counties that have taken a direct hit by this tornado. So I imagine that there could be parts of State Highway 35 that are closed down, parts of Highway 6 between Alvin and Santa Fe may be closed down, as well as parts of I-45 at Highway 3 and now 146 as this tornado continues to bear down on this location. It looks like we have the new update on this warning. Elise is getting the printout. They still have the expiration time as of 2 p.m. and they have now cleared out a big part of Dickinson. What else are you seeing on that printout there, Elise?
That is just the latest update as well.
Okay. Are they saying anything about any reports of damage or anything of that nature?
They said this tornado will be near San Leon around 1:55 as we were mentioning that. So the northern half of San Leon, you need to get ready for this storm to move through. They are also reporting the potential for quarter-size hail, which would likely be right around the northern end of that. They say heavy rainfall may hide the tornado. So that's another thing. These are rain-wrapped tornadoes, so you're not going to be able to see it coming. This is not something you want to see coming anyway. So they are saying take shelter now, as we have been reporting as well. And we also put up on Max 1 a track for when the storm moves over Galveston Bay. So the immediate concern is for San Leon, the northern communities in San Leon, and then just south of Bay Cliff. But if this storm continues to move at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, we'll have to watch what happens when this storm interacts with Galveston Bay. But if this storm is able to hold together, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some hail, some of those strong gusty winds, lots of lightning and heavy rainfall as this storm potentially splits the difference between Smith Point in southwestern Chambers County and Anahuac. So Chambers County, you need to start to get ready for this storm to move near you, because this storm, with how powerful of a tornado it potentially produced, Travis was measuring some of those wind speeds. Potentially, if he measured and was able to get a wind speed around 119 miles per hour, that's equivalent to an EF2 tornado that is potentially on the ground. So this thunderstorm is likely going to hold together. Doesn't mean it's going to produce a tornado once it crosses Galveston Bay into Chambers County, but Chambers County, you need to be up next. Anyone who lives along Galveston Bay in Chambers County from Anahuac all the way down to Smith Point, this storm is going to be moving towards you next. So likely to, not sure if they're going to continue the tornado warning, but they are emphasizing that San Leon, this tornado is likely going to move through there next.
Yeah, and right now the circulation is bearing down on the power plant in Bayshore Park. So kind of that stretch between Bay Cliff and San Leon, all of that is under very severe winds at this time. A very large tornado is likely on the ground, moving directly towards Bayshore Park. Soon this is going to get out there into the bay, and so that's where we want it. We want to get away from land. But right now, bearing down directly upon Avenue J, FM 517, Gulfstream Lane, West Bayshore Drive. This circulation moving its way northeastward at about 25-30 miles per hour directly over Bayshore Park. I've been looking around elsewhere in southeast Texas. I see no signs of anything else circulating, and at least confirms that as well. So this is why we're staying so laser focused on this storm, because this is an incredibly serious situation. This storm has a history of destroying multiple homes, both regular homes we understand and mobile homes, according to Storm Spotter reports, and producing significant debris across the roadway. So it is going to be a long cleanup process that's going to be underway here across parts of Galveston and Brazoria County from this tornado. And we also had a couple of tornadoes farther off to the north. Now, the new scan just came in from the National Weather Service radar, so we'll give you the very latest on that, showing those sampled wind speeds still above 60 miles per hour right over Bayshore Park. And I will also go over to the velocity from Hobby Airport, just to kind of get a feel for, it's basically sampling the same thing right there in terms of that very strong circulation. It looks like the center of the circulation is either right over West Bayshore Drive or out into Galveston Bay.
Yeah,
so
it looks like it's
crossing.
just crossing.
Yeah, but notice how there's still those strong winds that extend down to 517, right?
Yep.
So we still have some very gusty winds that are ongoing, and we saw that earlier. One reason I've got it on the Hobby Airport radar now is we get more frequent updates from that radar of what's happening here in the lowest levels. So this is the center of the circulation, and then there's those strong winds at 60 miles per hour that are moving away from the radar side, and then we have these winds coming toward the radar side. And so a very large area of strong winds. So even if there's not, say, a tornado on the ground, we're getting those 60 to 70 mile per hour sustained winds going on in this very large circulation over a large area for a very large period of time. So hopefully this will get out offshore as quickly as it can, and then nothing else will pop up. But we are monitoring this line and another one coming in behind it. We believe the one coming in behind it is not going to have the same potential to produce tornadoes. There could be some gusty winds, there could be some hail, but this is the main tornado event, the line that is currently passing through and has just done significant damage to places like Liverpool, Alvin, Santa Fe, Dickinson, Bay Cliff, and San Leon, and there we see the circulation continuing to move offshore. So those in San Leon and Bay Cliff still hunker down until wait a few minutes even after the wind dies down, just in case it picks back up again. Stay in that safe place until this passes you by. So it is almost out there over water, and then as Elise pointed out, what was the timing again of that getting back over into Chambers County? Because it's going to spend some time over water, but it very well may keep spinning and produce a water spout that becomes a tornado again. Once it gets over in the vicinity of Anahuac.
It was about 2:45.
About 2:45. Okay, so we're at 1:55 right now. So a little less than an hour's time, this will cross the bay and be in Chambers County. And this is the only rotating storm we see right now. It's the third one we've seen today with these very large circulations, and unfortunately, it has done some significant damage, as have the other ones, and those reports are still coming in. So we're going to stay on this as it continues to move its way out. And Elise, if you could prepare for us a broad overview, just so folks can get a feel for what is coming elsewhere, with what else we have coming with that second line coming in. We do have some reports of thunderstorm wind gusts, 66 miles per hour that occurred near the intersection of 40th Street and Texas Avenue. So confirming what we have been expecting, it does now look like the core of the strongest winds is offshore, but we're still getting a belt of fast-moving winds trailing back from what is likely the tornado that is now over water. Typically, we refer to a water spout. It's a different type of tornado, a weaker type. This is a large tornado that just so happens to be over Galveston Bay, and then it's going to continue to work its way northeastward. It's likely going to miss Smith Point, but could get pretty close to Anahuac. So anywhere from Smith Point to Anahuac, I know the stretch in between is fairly rural, but any one of those places in between needs to be prepared for the possibility that this is going to maintain itself as it crosses over the bay. So I'll pull the view out and we'll set it into motion just to kind of show you exactly the direction and feel that it's going. And you can just see how this has sustained itself for the last hour. This very large circulation crossing through Galveston County and now out into, and you can even see it almost looks like a hurricane on the radar. It's very rare that we see that where there's this hole in the middle of the circulation. So that tells me that this is probably a very large tornado that is still out now over the water, but the winds could still be pretty gusty there in the eastern part of Galveston County.
And Travis,
Elise,
I do have some reports of power outages now in Bay Cliff, so it is stretching.
Southern track that emerged around Liverpool and Alvin and tracked across Galveston County. So these have been the main two paths of the tornado damage, and we don't see signs of anything else trying to spin up at this time. But we'll have to wait and see what happens when this circulation that just got into Galveston Bay, what happens when it gets to the other side over into Chambers County. So those of you in Chambers County, start calling your loved ones, get ready, because the storm is coming your way, and we can't tell you right now whether or not it will actually be producing a tornado when it does so. This will stay south of you in Mont Belvieu, but those of you anywhere from Anahuac towards Winnie and Stowell, if you kind of just look at the general track this has been taking, it's going to cut, almost make a beeline towards the communities of Winnie and Stowell. Hopefully it will not be producing a tornado at that time, but those are the two main paths.
But as you can see here on 13 Alert Radar, it doesn't mean that we still don't have powerful thunderstorms moving through the region. Now, I do want to begin with the thunderstorm that is over Galveston Bay right now. You can see that storm continuing to have lots of lightning with the storm, gusty winds as well. And I'm going to put on the velocity again, and I have to say, that circulation is still there in the middle of Galveston Bay. So we potentially have a large water spout right now in Galveston Bay tracking northeast at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. And you can see that arrow that just popped up here on 13 Alert Radar. So again, I'll point out that circulation for you, or where that mesocyclone, that tornado could be. It is going to look, it looks like it's going to track just to the north of Smith Point. And I can zoom in here, but I want to say Anahuac, Monroe City, Chambers County, you need to prepare for this thunderstorm next. This is the thunderstorm that likely produced a strong tornado in portions of Brazoria and Galveston County. It has tracked 4 miles. This is a thunderstorm you don't want to mess with, and one that has the potential to stay intact even over water and then move overland once again and potentially produce a tornado in Chambers County. So there is the center of that circulation right there, where we potentially have a large water spout in Galveston Bay. Bay. It looks like it's going to move just north of Smith Point into Chambers County, but I am anticipating potentially this rotating mesocyclone, this low-hanging wall cloud to move into Chambers County, and I would not be surprised if it does produce a tornado eventually again once it moves over land. I was also sampling some wind speeds with this particular thunderstorm, and even if there is not a tornado anymore, if there's no more water spouts, it's still producing wind gusts of about 50 to 60 miles per hour and potentially some P to upwards of quarter-size hail. So this thunderstorm is going to roar ashore once it does move into Chambers County. And again, I'll go back one more frame to give you the approximate timing as of right now. If this thunderstorm still continues to track at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, it'll be moving into Anahuac and Monroe City around 3 o'clock, if not just passing to the south of that. So this thunderstorm right now is on a trajectory to move into Chambers County, I would say within the next 20 minutes or so, as that circulation is still there, which is the sign of a potential tornado. And we did just get in a reported thunderstorm wind gust in San Leon of about 60 miles per hour when that thunderstorm, the tornadic thunderstorm, was overhead. Now, I'll give you a big, broad picture again, as there are other things that we are monitoring and tracking at this hour, but as Travis has mentioned, none of them are necessarily rotating like the one we have over Galveston Bay at the moment.
Going. We've also got Cheetah Craft in the building with us, which is very nice. She's here to help. This storm is moving to the...
Track it. It's around 20 miles per hour.
It's moving northeast at 35. And this is moving towards Chambers County. So let's get a track on this and we'll show you where it's headed. This is the same storm that produced the tornadoes back in Brazoria and Galveston County. So I would take this seriously. Again, pretty rural area. Not expected to get anywhere impactful until, let's say, about 2:40. So that's Pine Island School. So if you live near Pine Island School, use that as a landmark. That's about when this is going to reach you. But this, again, is a really significant, I would say this is probably the strongest rotation signature that we have seen so far this morning and this afternoon. So your tornado is right here. It's where the red and the green colors are meeting up. And new scan just coming in. So I'll redraw that. So there's your rotation, and we'll move the cone. So again, Pine Island School around 2:37 based on that new track. This is a dangerous storm. It's over water right now. It is about to move over land. It is a tornadic supercell. This is not those picturesque small little water spouts that we see here sometimes in the fall or sometimes in the spring. This is a tornadic supercell thunderstorm that's producing a strong tornado over water, and it is about to move over land. So once it crosses from Galveston Bay into Chambers County, it goes from being a water spout to a tornado. It's the same thing. The only difference is just where it is. So obviously no debris signature being picked up with this since it's over water right now, but it is moving towards the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. Let's zoom out. We'll give you an idea of what's going on everywhere else. No other severe storms in the area. We'll keep a close eye on these that are coming into the northwestern portion of Harris County. But this is the only game in town right now. Again, it's a rural area. That's good news. Not going to affect a ton of people, but boy, this thing has that little hook appearance on radar as well. So we'll switch over. And let's see. Once we switch over, you can see what I'm talking about. It's got a little bit of a curly Q with it. We'll stop the radar, and we'll actually we'll be able to isolate this radar image. Let's see. So this storm moving onshore here, approaching. This will eventually get to White's Ranch Road, and that's again near where the school is there in Chambers County. This is going to come south of Anahuac, so Anahuac's not included in the warning. The Bolivar Peninsula not included in the warning. It's pretty much from Smith Point north, but it's really going to be north of the Smith Point area. Smith Point, just north of there. So Smith Point, even though you're included in the warning, your area of rotation, your strongest area of the storm is right about here, and that's going to go straight towards, again, White's Ranch Road, and that, again, is about where the school is. So as we take this out over the next 30, 40 minutes, Pine Island School, again, 240 to 245, that's where we're expecting this to impact that area. And I don't think there's a ton of houses in here. Again, fairly rural. There are a few folks that live here, obviously. So if you do, interior room of your home, away from the walls, away from doors, away from windows. We really just want to maintain as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Same thing that we've been preaching for the last 5 to 6 hours. And this has very strong rotation. What was that, Cheetah?
Severe thunderstorm warning now for Montgomery.
Okay.
And Northern Harris, if you want to give like a broad.
Okay, so while we're waiting for this to come on shore, because the couplet, I believe, couplet's moving on shore right now. So there you go. Let's see, is there any roads? There are a couple of streets near here. And you know what we can do? We can actually call some of these streets out. Okay. Let's see if we can get zoomed in a little more. Okay, so White Heron Road, Smith Point Road, also got, looks like that's about it. So again, very rural in this area. Teal Lane. We've got all these points here. Again, rural spot. This is just to the north of Smith Point. Tornado warning if you're just joining us. We'll switch over to velocity again, and we'll give you an idea. That's very, very, very strong velocity. That is the strongest couplet that we have seen so far. That blue is on the stronger end of things. Hold on, let me get us out of here. So notice the blue is on the stronger end of this scale, and then we're getting into those yellow oranges, also the strong end of the scale. This is intense rotation. This is likely going to be a strong tornado. I hate to say this. Again, thankfully it's fairly rural out here, but this is a very intense tornado now, just coming on shore in Chambers County. This is north of Smith Point, but it is moving towards it'll eventually be moving towards the middle of the county, which is where the school is. So as we widen out, that is incredible. And we put a track on this. Pine Island School will be on the northern end of this track. We'll have to see if it starts to curve north or if it stays on that eastward track. But Pine Island School will be the one landmark that's impacted. So the road out here is White's Ranch Road. So if you live along White's Ranch Road near Pine Island School, you've got a pretty intense tornado moving in your direction. This is the most intense radar signature that we have seen so far. This is actually really surprising. We'll do even a little investigation here with the radar to see how strong the winds are. And you can see we've got at least about 110 to 120 mile per hour winds moving in opposing directions. So this is really intense. This is moving into Chambers County. Thankfully, this is the only tornado warning that we've got on the map right now. I do want to bring everyone's attention quickly, though, to this diameter. All right, let's get you back to this one. This is huge. This is now an observed tornado. This is a tornado on the ground. If we have anybody in the booth, the producer, anyone in digital, if we can find any images of this on social media. There's obviously storm chasers that are on this storm, or at least folks that have seen it. This is our tornado. This is our same storm that produced a tornado in Alvin, moved across Galveston Bay, now producing a tornado in Chambers County. Let's switch over to correlation coefficient. There's our debris signature, it looks like. It's hard to say. It's like a little farther to the south. This is observed, though. It's on the ground. And again, there may not be a lot of debris because there may not be a lot of trees. There may not be a lot of buildings or structures in this area. Again, best case scenario is to have a big tornado in an open field where it doesn't impact anybody. But there are some homes here in rural western Chambers County. And so if you live here, Smith Point is down here. Just to get your bearings, this tornado is moving to the northeast towards I believe it's Pine Island School. So White's Ranch Road. We'll pull this out. Yeah, Pine Island School. Within the next 6 minutes, that's going to be arriving where you are. So this is the latest. We've got a tornado confirmed on the ground. It's observed. This warning goes until 3 o'clock. Current time right now is 2:33. and this is going to be moving towards Pine Island School within the next 5 to 7 minutes. So this is the main game that we've got right now. This is the same thunderstorm that produced the destructive tornado that went through the Liverpool area, through the Alvin area. It has maintained its strength. It is now coming across Chambers County and eventually towards Pine Island School and White's Ranch Road. So if you live along that road, if you live near there, you got to make sure that you're getting to shelter now. Again, interior room, get away from any windows, any doors, get to the lowest level of your home. If you live in a mobile home, in a modular home, what do? If you live far enough out, if you live along White's Ranch Road, I'd say you've got about 2 minutes to make a decision. If you have a next door neighbor with a sturdier home, go knock on their door. Make friends with them, ask, hey, I got a shelter. Because this storm, you do not want to be in a modular home. You do not want to be in a mobile home. When this comes through, this will pick that home right up off the ground, throw it a football field, 2 football fields away. It's going to be pretty hard to survive that if you're inside of it. So again, if you live far enough away, if you live in a modular home, in a mobile home, you want to find somewhere sturdy to take shelter right now. This is racing across the island at about 35 miles per hour. Towards White's Ranch Road, should reach there within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So that's how much time you have if you live there. Let's get just a wider shot here to show you what's happening. And you can see there's Smith Point. Here's Gilchrist, High Island. This is well to the north of you. This is going to stay to the north. It's going to go off towards the north and east. So farther down the line, Seabreeze, if you live in that community. Again, if you're in a modular home, if you're in a mobile home, now is the time to start making those plans. I would say if you live anywhere out here, you're not included in the warning yet, but if you're in Seabreeze, if you're up towards Winnie, if you live along Texas 65 or Texas 124, if you live anywhere out here in the eastern portion of Chambers County, and if you're in a modular home or a mobile home, now is the time to start making those plans to go to a neighbor's home. Go to any kind of sturdy structure to stay safe. Go ahead, Tim. What was that? Okay, so some pretty heavy news we just got. Brazoria County Sheriff is confirming that we do have 1 fatality from this storm that produced a tornado in Liverpool. So this is now a deadly storm. It's producing a tornado still. This is the same tornado that went through Liverpool. It's now confirmed to have killed 1 person. And this storm is now producing the same tornado or another tornado. It's the same storm, though, now over Chambers County. Take a look at the motion here. It looks like it went a little farther to the south. Okay, so let's redraw this, and we'll show you where this is going. We'll take it on this path. No big landmarks in the path of this, which is good news. But again, if you live anywhere south of White's Ranch Road, if you live along White's Ranch Road, out towards Texas 124, up towards the Seabreeze community, and even down towards High Island, if you live in a modular home, if you live in a mobile home, that's where the most fatalities take place during these storms. Now is the time to get to shelter. Now is the time to make sure that you are in a safe spot as this storm moves to the east. This is moving at about 35 miles per hour. It's an observed tornado. Someone has actually seen this on the ground. It's likely a large and powerful tornado, and this is moving to the east again at about 35 miles per hour. Widening the shot, you can see we've got a severe thunderstorm warning to the north. Nothing tornadic expected with this, but that will be impacting areas here along northern Harris County, getting into extreme southern portions of Montgomery County. The main threat with this will be hail up to 1 inch in diameter and 60 mile per hour winds. This is the main storm, though, what we've got here in Chambers County. This is on the ground. This came in from Galveston Bay, and it is moving to the east again at 35 miles per hour out towards Texas 124. If you're watching us, now is the time to get to a safe spot. Now is the time to get to safety. Now is the time to make sure that you are in a sturdy structure. Again, if you don't have a neighbor that has a sturdy home, find a place in town, find a place somewhere, because you don't want to be in a modular home or a mobile home out in this area as this storm comes through. That's how dangerous this is. This is moving at about 35 miles per hour, so I would say, let's time it out. You've got about a half an hour. About a half an hour before this gets to you along Texas 124. So that's where this is moving. It'll be paralleling White's Ranch Road. This will also likely be a rain-wrapped tornado, meaning you won't be able to see it easily. We do have a visual on it that was likely from a trained storm spotter or a trained storm chaser. If you are just kind of standing outside looking for it in the distance, it might be very difficult to see. So of course, if you're close enough to see it, you're in danger. So you really want to be inside an interior room, lowest level of your home. If you have a storm shelter, that's definitely the place to be right now. This is an observed tornado on the ground. And again, this tornado coming from the same storm that has now claimed the life of one person in Brazoria County out in Liverpool. So this is a long-lived and a long-tracking supercell thunderstorm that survived its way all the way across Galveston Bay and is now moving through Chambers County. So some very strong winds even associated with the thunderstorm itself. So even outside the tornado, very powerful winds up here in the blue along FM 562, where it turns into White's Ranch Road. This will be moving to the east still, again at about 35 miles per hour, and eventually getting to areas along Texas 124 to the south of Seabreeze as we go through the probably about the top of the hour. I'd say around 3 p.m. is when this rotation, when this tornado will reach Texas 124. There are no other tornado warnings at the moment. This is the one that we're dealing with right now. We've got 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. We have one going on here. This is the big, yeah, what'd you say? Yeah, it shows how much lightning's with that storm. We got Cheetah Craft here in the background. She's helped me out, and she's going to do, I mean, look at the ball of lightning, though, that's coming in there with this storm. And you can see here, in just the last 10 minutes alone, how much lightning have we got? We'll see.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. Yeah, 738 strikes.
And that's just in that area.
738 strikes in the last 10 minutes. So very electric storm. That's a sign of a very intense thunderstorm, a sign of an intense tornado producing cell.
And the hail.
And we probably have some hail in there as well. Move this around a little bit. And let's actually switch over. I mean, the main threat here really is a tornado. The hail threat is very much secondary to what we're seeing here. We go over to our debris detector. This is good news. There's no debris popping up on the map right now. It does look like this was some debris here earlier. This cluster down here, as this moved on shore. See, there's the debris, and then it kind of fanned out. So this is where we picked up some debris, whether it was trees or homes. That remains to be seen, but notice how the colors correlate to debris. We go from this white shade, which indicates no debris, to these navy blue to teal shades, which indicate debris. And then as the storm moves, it kind of blows that debris everywhere. And so now we're starting to see it dissipate there on radar at the moment. We had another little burst of debris right here up towards White's Ranch Road. So let's go back over to radar. Yeah, you can definitely see how there's probably some hail on the north side of this. Notice the magenta shading up here, probably some hail going just to the south of Anahuac. Anahuac's not in this warning though, and neither is Winnie, neither is High Island. It's in a very rural part of the county, which is great news. That's the best thing that we want to see. That being said, though, there are still people that live out here, which is why we're on the air for this warning. And this is the same storm that claimed the life of somebody in Brazoria County in Liverpool just a few hours ago. This is heartbreaking to have something like that, especially so close to the holidays, to Christmas. So here's a look at the storm right now. Looks like the rotation has started to come down just a little bit. We had rotation being picked up here, but I think the core of it was farther to the south. And as we switch over to velocity, this is the latest image. Now that's pretty strong there still. Cheetah, are you seeing anything on social media about this?
You know, I've seen a few videos, but not great, but you're also dealing with very rural areas.
Yeah. No good video or photo confirmation so far. And I'm checking Twitter to see if there are any storm chasers on this cell. This is impressive, though. This is a really impressive cell. That's moving through Chambers County at the moment. A lot of damage photos on social media, though. This is unbelievable. This is a true supercell here. This is going to cross right over White's Ranch Road. So that's what this is going to do. This is intense rotation. We have our shear tracker. We'll switch over to that. And it looks messy in here. I'm telling you, though, when you look at the correlation coefficient, there it is, it just picked up. So maybe it's on a little bit of a delay. You go over to velocity. So what we're looking at here, if you're just joining us after 5 hours of storm coverage, we've got two colors that we primarily look for. We look for red and green, right? So why is there blue and orange on here? Well, basically, as that wind strength increases, it goes into those parts of the color scale. So when you're seeing blue, that indicates really strong winds. And when you see that yellow-orange, also really strong winds. So we're seeing an intense amount of wind, an intense velocity couplet here. What is a velocity couplet? So basically what we're looking at is wind moving in two directions. The radar site is in League City across Galveston Bay. The red side of the scale indicates wind that's moving away from the radar. Think of you're watching a car drive away from you and you see the red tail lights. That's the best way to remember it. It's how I remembered it through meteorology school. So you've got the red moving away, the green moving towards. And so what happens, think about if your arm represents the wind moving away and your other arm represents the wind moving towards. So you rub them together. If you had like a cylinder in between your arms and you did that, what's that cylinder going to do? It's going to spin. That's the philosophy behind what we're showing you here. We're seeing strong winds move in one direction, strong winds move in another, and what do you get? You get that rolling motion. So your tornado is going to be right in there. And a velocity couplet is where those two areas kind of link. They link together. And so that shows that those winds moving in opposite directions, they're spinning that imaginary cylinder, okay, which is your tornado. And so that's going to be right in there. That's what I was talking about, right? So you move your arms, what's it doing? It's spinning. That's exactly what we're seeing here, okay? So strong winds moving that way, strong winds moving back this way. New scan just coming in. You just saw it there with me. It just updated. It's about to cross over White's Ranch Road. And we'll move this to show what's going on here. Yeah, that is the unfortunately, that is the most dangerous looking couplet that we have seen so far today. And we have seen some very dangerous storms so far. And again, one of which is fatal. This is your perfect textbook definition example of a strong rotation couplet. The blue color there indicating on the stronger end of the scale, the orange and the yellow indicating the stronger end of the other scale. Again, you move those together and what's happening in between, you're getting that tornado right there in the middle. So this is about to cross over White's Ranch Road. This is pretty much where FM 562 turns, I guess turns into White's Ranch Road. Again, very rural area, thankfully, but there are still folks that live out here. So if you know somebody that lives out here, maybe they're not watching TV, call them. Say, hey, listen, there's there's life-threatening weather headed your way. This is an observed, it's a tornado on the ground. We know it's there. We have had debris signatures. You know, debris has actually showed up on radar. And so this is real deal. And this is the same storm that claimed the life of somebody, again, back in Liverpool out in Brazoria County. So this is what we're watching right now. This is the main game in town at the moment. There's brand new warning now. So they're extending this. This includes sea breeze. Okay, so about 1,500 people in this warning. So remember, I was saying about 10 minutes ago, if you live in sea breeze, if you're in a modular home, if you're in a mobile home, and you live anywhere out here, find somewhere now. Because if your mobile or modular home gets hit by this tornado, it's not a good chance of survival. Okay, so you really want to do what you can to put yourself in the best situation. Here's our tornado. It is pretty much riding right along White's Ranch Road. This is it. It's an observed tornado still. It's moving to the east-northeast. Let me see what the new warning says, see if the speed has changed at all. Moving east-northeast at 35 miles per hour still. Okay, so same speed. So when does this get to sea breeze? Let's time it out for you. Gets to sea breeze by 3:06. Current time is 2:48. It's 2:48 right now. So we've got about 15 minutes before this gets to sea breeze. And then Fig Ridge on the northern edge of this, right? So we have a wide cone because the storm kind of wobbles, and we've seen that. We saw it track a little south for a minute, and it bumped back north again. This is right on top of White's Ranch Road. You got to imagine that there are folks that live along here, probably some farms. I mean, please, if you know anybody that lives along this road, getting close to Texas 124, this is real deal. This is moving quick too. There's a new update. So I'll move this. I'm going to shift everything over. Okay, there's your updated time for sea breeze, 3:03. Again, 2:49 right now, 3:03, so roughly 12 minutes to find somewhere safe to go. This is our same tornadic cell that went through Alvin, went through Liverpool, went through Dickinson, caused a lot of damage, killed someone, unfortunately, in the Liverpool area, went across Galveston Bay, and is now in Chambers County. So if you're just joining us, this has been a very active day. This is our third or fourth, probably, tornado on the ground, confirmed. It's tracking along White's Ranch Road, and will eventually get to sea breeze by the top of the hour. Are you seeing any photos?
No, we're not
No.
seeing anything. Why don't you do a big reset?
Yeah, let's talk about what else is going on here quick. But I really want to stay focused on this storm just because it's so dangerous.
And maybe show what the lightning is.
Yeah, back to the west, we've got, but again, the main storm that's the most dangerous storm that we've got on the map right now is in Chambers County. It's this one, White's Ranch Road, going towards sea breeze, tornado on the ground. This is life or death for folks if you live in this area. I'm really not overstating that. This is a dangerous storm. It has claimed the lives of someone already, claimed the life of somebody already in Liverpool, and it is now moving towards the edge, the eastern edge of Chambers County at about 35 miles per hour. Brand new radar scan just coming in. Let's reset the locations. All right, still 303, 304 for sea breeze. This is right on top of White's Ranch Road, pretty much paralleling this road. This is some of the strongest rotation that we've seen so far today. And again, we've got, let's see, this warning's in effect till 3:15. So that means another 25 minutes or so with this warning. And I think after this, our tornado threat is going to drop considerably. I think this is this is probably the most dangerous storm that we're going to have to deal with through the rest of the day. I don't see anything else that's really significant out there. I don't know if Cheetah, if you've seen anything, but you know, we had that severe thunderstorm warning that's farther north.
Yeah, this is some damage.
Yes. All right, so let's talk about this tornado warning again. Okay, I don't want us to get lost here on what's going on. That is really intense rotation. That's terrible. This is going right towards sea breeze. So small community, but you know, you got to imagine there's probably some modular homes, probably some mobile homes in here as well. And that is the deadliest place to be in a storm like this. So really, I can't emphasize enough, if you have friends, family, if you know anybody out there, tell them to get to a safe spot now. We've got about 10 minutes before this gets into sea breeze. Ferocious rotation there. The blues, the oranges, the reds there indicating that. Still showing an arrival time around 3:04. It kind of varies every time you move the thing, but I would give this another 10 minutes before it gets in there. So this is tracking along White's Ranch Road. I know that the majority of us, the vast majority of us, I know that we're not affected by this because it is in Chambers County, but we have to be on the air for everybody in our viewing area when there's a dangerous weather situation happening. So this will be out of here in a few minutes, and we'll get going. But we just want to talk about what's going on here. This is our, I think, 4th tornado of the day. We had one in the Brookshire area, Katy area, where we've had Michelle Choi live earlier this afternoon. We've had a tornado up in the Splendora area. What was that, Cheetah? Yeah, sure. Put the storm reports on there. We've had one in the Splendora area, and then we also had one through Liverpool and Alvin, and potentially even Baycliff as well. And that's the same storm right now that's moving across Chambers County. So it's been a very busy day. There are the tornado reports, the funnel cloud reports that went through. Yeah, let's take all that off. That went through the Katy area and then lifted across the, I believe this is Cypress area. Yep. And then eventually kind of picked up, moved through Spring. Why don't you take the auto query off for the warnings? And then this is where we had some really significant damage. Up around Roman Forest, Splendora, Porter Heights, significant damage. And we're going to have a reporter up there live this evening with a report from there. And then this was one down in Liverpool. This is where we had the fatality, unfortunately. So this was along Texas 35, significant damage to homes down here. That was the same storm that is now producing a tornado moving towards the community of Seabreeze. So Seabreeze is the spot that's next, but we've had a very, very busy, this is just today. This isn't what we've had so far this week. This is today's storm reports. So some wind reports here, down through League City, out towards Baytown, but it's the tornado reports. And you know what? We've got a reporter standing by. I want to do one more recap on this cell quick, so we'll get back in for a closer look. This is an observed tornado on the ground, moving towards Seabreeze. You've got, what time is it? 57. You've got about 5 minutes before this gets to you. Dangerous situation here, observed on the ground, moving towards Seabreeze. You got to get into a safe spot right now. This is on the ground moving your way. I was just talking about the tornadoes we've seen so far today, one in Katy, one up towards Porter Heights, and another in Alvin. We've got reporter Orko Manna. He is, I believe, in Alvin with the latest on the damage, and that looks significant just in that shot behind you, Orko. What have you seen so far?
Yeah, well, Pat, right now we are on Mustang Road, just south of Highway 35 near Alvin Community College, and you mentioned it. There's a lot of damage out here. Right behind me, there are a couple of homes here where you can see part of those roofs have been ripped off by this storm damage, again, with that tornado touching down between Liverpool and the Heights area here. And again, you can see part of those roofs ripped off and part of the top of these trees as well, completely ripped with the storm damage here. A lot of folks out here, homeowners, family members, assessing the damage. We're seeing a lot of fire departments out here as well. The City of Alvin Fire Department, as well as the Pearland Fire Department. Right next to those homes is this daycare center here, and they've also sustained quite a bit of damage. There are some broken windows, but if you look at that tree right behind the daycare center, what appears to be part of the roof of the daycare flew up in that wind and is now in that tree. And this is the kind of damage we're seeing all across the area here, to homes, to different buildings and businesses like this daycare center. Right across the street is Walt Disney Elementary School, and we're seeing a lot of debris, broken parts of the building on the ground, and then parts of the building itself kind of damaged. You can see the top of that area appears to be probably the front entrance of the elementary school here, damaged by the storm. Bricks, pieces of metal and wood on the ground falling off of the building. And this whole street here, Mustang Road, is blocked off. You can see the Alvin Police Department is out here, as well as different fire crews. We've seen them kind of come and go throughout the area, different staging areas. We were told by the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office that the tornadoes have touched down multiple times within this area, this vicinity. So again, a lot of damage out here, residents as well as officials trying to assess that damage, but it is pretty significant here. And when we first got here, probably about 30 minutes ago, emergency crews appear to be trying to reset the power or test the power lines, and we saw a transformer kind of burst as well. So again, there is a lot of damage out here, and that assessment of that damage is just beginning. Pat, back to you.
Orko, thank you so much. I just want to update everybody. They just extended this tornado warning here in Chambers County. It's now a PDS, a particularly dangerous situation. This is about as serious as it gets for this area. Seabreeze is going to see some significant damage from this storm, unfortunately. This is observed. It now has a considerable tag. This is pretty much as serious as it gets without being a tornado emergency, and they probably don't they really only issue tornado emergencies for slightly more populated areas, and I think just because this is fairly rural here is why they haven't done it. But the warning reads, a large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Stowell, or about 12 miles southwest of Hampshire, moving east at 50 miles per hour. Okay, so this is a PDS tornado warning. This is a life-threatening situation. Okay, so this is going to be, let me see if I can pull up this warning here. This is an observed tornado. This is on the ground. So a large and extremely dangerous tornado is located 7 miles southwest of Stowell, 13 miles southwest of Hampshire, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Sorry, 35 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. This warning goes until 3 p.m., but I think it's extended on this one here. So forget when it's in effect too. It's in effect right now. Till 3:15, thank you, yes. This is coming into Seabreeze. This is one of the more significant signatures that we've seen so far today. We've had a very, very busy day here, very dangerous storms. This is just to the north now of White's Ranch Road. It's north of there, moving right towards Seabreeze. If you live in Seabreeze, it's a very small community, but if you live there, you must make sure that you are in a place of shelter right now. This is going to be crossing over FM 1941, 1985, and Highway 124. I don't think there's any cameras out there. This is going to be just south of Winnie. So Winnie is up here. There's Stowell. Okay. There's Fig Ridge. Here's Seabreeze. Okay. So Winnie is just north of Fig Ridge. And this is going to be crossing eventually out of Chambers County. And I believe that's Jefferson County next to it. But if you live in Winnie, and you have anyone that's traveling along Highway 73, that will likely be impacted by this down the road as well. So a lot of moving pieces here, but bottom line, this is coming into Seabreeze right now. If you're just joining us, extremely large and dangerous tornado on the ground coming into Seabreeze, which is in eastern Chambers County. Okay, and we'll, yeah, so here's Winnie, Fig Ridge. This is Highway 73. Here's I-10. I-10 goes north, and this is Texas 124. This is a large, dangerous tornado, and now a particularly dangerous situation from the National Weather Service. This has been observed, and this will be causing considerable damage to any structures in its path. This is right below being a catastrophic tornado. I mean, you're splitting hairs at that point. This is going to do damage, and this is a life-threatening situation for folks that live in Seabreeze and even Fig Ridge. You're not out of the woods yet. I wouldn't let your guard down here because it's very easy. This storm starts to take that turn towards the north. It's a possibility. And the warning that's downstream that includes Jefferson County is huge. It goes all the way to the coast and it goes all the way to the north along I-10 here. And so that just kind of shows the uncertainty that could happen with a storm like this. When they start to get this intense, they really become self-sufficient engines, and they start to kind of take on a life of their own and can move in very erratic deviations of direction. So there's your core of rotation. This is such a bad situation for anyone in this area. Cheetah, this is some of the most intense rotation I've seen here in a long time.
Yeah, you can see that. I mean, even over the past 4 days.
Yeah, exactly. What Cheetah just said, in the last 4 days, we've had multiple tornado warnings. This is probably one of the most intense signatures that we've seen. Yeah, anything in the path of this is going to be destroyed or sustain significant damage if it's well built. And we've seen.
Just have shelters.
Yeah, you've got to be in a shelter for this. This is an unbelievable storm coming into this area right now. There's a lot of colors on this map. If you missed at the top of this broadcast, I was talking about what those colors mean. Basically, we use green and red typically. But when the wind intensity gets so strong, we start to go outside of the green and red. So we start to get into these blue colors. We've got intense blue, and then we've also got these yellow and orange colors. We've got that on the map also. And where they're starting to interlock fingers here, right, this is what we call a couplet, and that's where your tornado is. So the colors that are in green and blue indicate the wind moving this direction towards the radar in League City across Galveston Bay. And the colors in orange and red indicate winds moving in that direction towards Louisiana, away from the radar, right? Think about red as the taillights of the car, right? So that's wind moving away. You're looking away, you're seeing the taillights of the car driving away from the radar site. So the theory, the philosophy here is when you have the wind going that direction and coming this direction, what happens in between? You get that spin, right? So there's your tornado right there. That's coming to Seabreeze, crossing over Texas 124 probably right now. It's probably right on top of 124 right now. These radar scans, they come in every 3 to 4 minutes. So we're waiting for that new scan, and once once it sweeps across the screen, you're going to see this jump. It's probably over 124 right now. Here it comes, boom, right over 124. So there it is. There's the latest scan. This is moving 35 miles per hour to the east. What are some of the areas impacted here? Very rural area, but oh man. Herbert Road, French Road, FM 1941, it's on top of you right now. So this is what we're dealing with here. We're probably going to have to get on the phone with Chambers County EMA at some point, see what they're seeing or what they're hearing. Fairview Road, Rabbit Hill Road, all of these spots. Again, anywhere in Seabreeze. I hope that you were able to get to shelter. We've got a ferocious tornado moving through this community right now. And after this, it goes into Jefferson County, and then that should hopefully be it for our viewing area in terms of the tornado threat for the rest of this afternoon. We do have some stronger storms up north. They dropped the severe thunderstorm warning in northern Harris County. They dropped the severe thunderstorm warning in Polk and San Jacinto. This is the only game in town right now, and it is one of the most intense. It's one of the most intense signatures that I have seen, honestly, in my 3 years here, and definitely in the last few days. Really significant here. We'll switch over to our correlation coefficient. This is our debris detector. See if we see anything pop up here. Nothing at the moment. Unfortunately, I think that's going to change once we get the new scan in and it goes past the town, this community here. I think you're going to see some debris pop up on here. Nothing showing up at the moment. Let me see if I can actually play with the color table on this. It might be a different color table to show up a little better. And Cheetah, we're not seeing any.
We don't have any reports right now. We don't have any video. We don't have any pictures coming in.
Right.
We've got
Yeah, a little bit of a drop here. I mean, going into the yellows, it's just so hard to tell. That's why we use that white and blue one. It's just so much cleaner, so much easier. This could be some debris in here, though. I bet that's probably some debris getting picked up. And we'll get a clearer image of that probably in the next few minutes. This is really, really intense velocity, though. Look at that, Cheetah.
yeah, that is.
That's unbelievable. That's about as strong as you're going to see here in Southeast Texas. Moving across 124. I think we need to, if the producer's in the booth, this is a spot we're going to have to check on. We need to check with the Chambers County Emergency Management Director, see what's going on here, any fire departments, see if there's any damage. And we just pray that there's no injuries or fatalities here. It's such a small community. There's not a ton of people in this warning. That's the best part about this. But those are also the communities that are hit the hardest and that have the hardest time bouncing back. And that's the heartbreaking part about seeing something like this. So this tornado on the ground, it's a considerable damage threat. This is just all fancy wording for the fact that it's a dangerous, large, violent tornado that's on the ground right now. About to exit Chambers County, going to Jefferson County. If you know anybody in Jefferson County, this is going to be starting to move in their direction next. That is the Beaumont TV market. So we will stop broadcasting about this storm once it gets out of Chambers County. But this is going to cause some major issues for folks that are traveling today. Thankfully, this is a very rural area, Jefferson County. Only 200 people out here. Thank goodness for that. But here in Seabreeze, that's the tough part. 1,500 people in this warning box, and who knows how many actually affected by this storm. But this is going right over that community there. This is the last storm that we have, though, to deal with. Thank goodness. It's been a very busy week. Again, I'm looking on my phone here off camera. I'm looking at all the wider view of the radar. We got some bigger storms right now going through, let's say, the Kingwood area, up towards Splendora, Roman Forest. That's bad news because they do have that tornado damage that they're dealing with right now in Splendora. Once those storms go through, though, that's when the cleanup can really begin because that's the last batch Okay, so latest radar scan just came in. The tornado is now to the east of Seabreeze. So we are now starting to get into the all clear. White's Ranch Road, all clear. Seabreeze, it's starting to move out now. You'll be all clear in the next 2 minutes. It's still on that eastward track. It doesn't look like, let's go back. Yeah, it's just moving straight northeast. So no northward component there. No more of a southward component. It looks like this will eventually try to get close to Highway 73. By that point, it's not for us anymore. This is a tough radar image to look at, though. I'm sorry, can you say that again? Yeah. So, producer bringing up a great point in my ear is, after a storm, you're going to have power lines down, gas lines ruptured. It's a very, very dangerous place to be, is in the aftermath of a storm. Never cross over any power lines. Always assume that they are alive still, because they may be. If you smell gas, get out of the area. Move to a well-ventilated area, because that indicates a gas line. If you have live electrical wires that are down, that could provide the spark to ignite a fire. God, this is terrible. This is moving northeast and away from us. Passing just to the south of Winnie, not far. Not far from Winnie. Only about 8 miles, 7 miles away. So this is moving next towards Taylor Landing along Highway 73. But I think the cleanup is going to start to begin now through Chambers County. We're going to have to see who was hit by this and excuse me, and what's going on up there. I want to kind of reset and bring everybody back to what's going on elsewhere. Sorry, bear with me for a second. 45 strikes in the last 10 minutes.
Okay, but let's do this down at the Chambers.
So she wants to go look. Now compare that. Now compare that 45 strikes to this Chambers County supercell that just dropped a major tornado. How many lightning strikes here, Cheetah?
Exactly, I have to see.
God.
1,000 in 10 minutes.
10 minutes, 1,000 strikes. That's crazy. 1,000 strikes in 10 minutes. And that's the difference between a tornadic thunderstorm and a non-tornadic thunderstorm, right? You're going to get, there's so much energy for the storm to feed off of. And so that's where all that lightning, all that electricity is coming in. Tim, have we heard anything out of Chambers County from EMA about any damage reports? Cheetah, are you seeing anything on chat? Nothing, okay. I think it's going to be a minute since there's such rural areas. Tim, if you want, if Orko's still available, I cut him short before, we can maybe go back, see if he's talked to anyone else. Okay, and then he's the only reporter we have out at the moment, right?
You have 1 more minute with this tornado warning.
Okay. All right, so 1 more minute left in this warning, but realistically it's gone, so Seabreeze in the clear now. God, it's crazy. Yeah, that's to the east of Seabreeze now, so Seabreeze all clear.
Okay.
And then that's it. So it's been a very busy afternoon so far. We've had multiple tornado reports across the area in just the last 12 hours.
With this storm,
this
as
is
it
going to be
closes
rain
in.
wrapped.
So we wouldn't, even if we were closer, we wouldn't actually be able to see what you think of as the funnel that's on the ground.
Well, hopefully we don't get it.
Right.
Hopefully
right.
it dies before reaching Port Arthur.
About 20 miles, you'd say, from this camera view. This is on the campus of downtown.
Let me get a measurement on that.
Yeah.
Let's see. It is. Let me go back to. Let's see. It looks like it's roughly 18 miles. Yeah.
Yeah, about 20 miles off to the southwest of PA right now. You see the lightning. Jeremiah Stewart's also in the Weather Impact Center right now. He's swinging this even more off to the southwest right now, and you'll start seeing in the distance, I believe that would be Valero and then Motiva on the horizon there as we spin around, looking sort of down Proctor Street toward the southwest right now from our Roofing 911 Skycam.
Tremendous amount of lightning, Jordan.
And we're seeing that. Let's go back to the radar, and it's rare to see the entire county lit up by these lightning strikes. There they are.
Good gravy.
What is that? Hundreds, I would think.
That's a lot of lightning.
A lot of lightning. If he puts it on there on top of the radar
Oh my
scan.
goodness! Why did you do that to me?
Don't want that. While Patrick is adjusting the lightning tracker, we do want to remind our friends a serious situation if you live in Port Acres, West Port Arthur, out in the LaBelle area. You need to be taking tornado precautions. This is a large storm. is a confirmed tornado. It's been on the ground for miles, off and on, all the way back to Brazoria County in the last 2 to 3 hours. So this is a long track supercell that has a history of producing tornadoes. Let's go back to the radar if we can at this point. We do want to remind you, move to an interior room if you're in Port Acres, in Port Arthur. The storm track on this has it arriving in the next 20 minutes. So this is a time you might want to move, find a safe spot. If you've got a mobile home, if you're in a mobile home, maybe there's a more substantial structure nearby that you can go to, because we do have this confirmed tornado on the ground. Meteorologist Jeremiah Stewart's here, Chief Meteorologist Patrick Vaughn with you. I'm Jordan Williams. We are on the air because this is a particularly dangerous scenario for our friends in southern Jefferson County. We're hoping this will miss Mid-County. We're hoping it's safe for folks there in Port Neches, Groves. You are going to be on the very close edge of this storm. If it does turn, which sometimes happens as the supercell cycles, these things can start doing a turn. But you see Patrick now putting the latest storm track on there, and this could take it into the heart of Port Arthur in the next 20 minutes if it stays on the ground. Patrick?
That's it. We're just getting, let me go out for the next 30, minutes. Let's take it out to 25 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, we're getting close. Let's see, Port Arthur, West Port Arthur 351. Let's see, did I change that? It's now at 40 mile per hour. That's right, 40.
Yep, 40
All right,
miles
so that's going to adjust the time to the northeast. So I'm putting on this track, and again, if it holds together, West Port Arthur around 3:51 and Port Arthur at 3:58 p.m. So let's see, probably 3:55 over towards Port Acres, Jordan.
Yeah. So we're talking 25 minutes until this closes in on very populated areas in Jefferson County. The hail scan showing some of the larger hail that would be possible toward the center of this storm.
And it also appears to be weakening a little bit there. So let me kind of, okay, there's your tornado watch. That has been extended until 9 p.m.
He's going to flip through those. We can go back to the Skycam for a second if you want, guys. Again, because we're showing that the other story with this storm, the significant amount of lightning, the fact that this storm also has a lot of rain around where the tornado would be. The meteorologists use this term rain wrapped, and that is basically to say there is a curtain of rain in front of where the funnel would be if it is in fact on the ground still at this very moment. So you're not going to get one of these iconic views like you'd see in Oklahoma or Kansas, where we can watch this thing roll in for the next 20 miles if in fact it stays on the ground. You're not going to be able to see it that well. What you can see on our live Roofing 911 Skycam are flashes of lightning. So much lightning with this storm. We would expect some power outages as well, even if not from tornadic winds, but just from the sheer amount of lightning that we're going to be seeing as this storm closes in on Jefferson County. You can see on the right there, we've got the storm scan turned on. This is the traditional mode where they track the winds. The green and the red showing whether the winds are coming toward or away from the radar site. And Patrick's really zooming in on here. This is the debris tracker. Those arrows pointing toward the area south of Taylor Landing. Again, this is an extremely rural area right now, all marshland for the most part. Maybe some hunting camps down there, but hopefully this is staying out in the rural areas at the moment. We're concerned what will happen in the next 20 minutes, though, as it closes in on West Port Arthur and Port Acres. Patrick.
Yeah, I'm, well, it seems like it's intensified a bit, maybe because it's getting closer to the radar site. But that's where we're at right now. Again, without a doubt, this is a tornado on the ground, just to the southwest, about 10 miles to the southwest of West Port Arthur. Again, this is the same track that affected Orange County, that produced the tornado of October 27th. 221. You saw the lightning flash and the car was flipped up in the air over I-10. This is the same path. It came across Brazoria County, Galveston County, across Galveston Bay, Chambers County. Tremendous amount of lightning with this as it moves off towards the northeast at 40 miles an hour. There it is. There is the rotation center of that tornado, and that tornado warning 3:45 p.m. This will probably be extended, but without a doubt, this is on the ground. Without a doubt, that is heading off to the north and east. This is the debris tracker, debris ball. It is lofting items up in the air. Everything around here is rain. This is what is being lofted. It's basically looking at the shape of the raindrops or whatever is in the air. And it's telling us that it is irregular shaped items that are in the air. And that's why this is a confirmed tornado on the ground, as you can see. Heading towards West Port Arthur, 3:51, and then 3:58 p.m. Towards Port Arthur. Let me get to see if there's your hail track, and as you can see, just south of Taylor Landing, hail coming down. Is there anything new on the
warning?
On the warning, let's see. Let's see.
It says roughly 10 miles southeast of Taylor Landing at this point. And
Say that again. Say, Jeremiah, your mic's on now. Good. We can hear you. Say that again.
Oh, y'all can hear me perfect.
Yes.
It is roughly 10 miles southeast of Taylor Landing, and it's headed to the northeast at about 35 miles an hour.
The latest bulletin I'm seeing at 3:35, so just 4 minutes ago, describes this as a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado. So 11 miles west of Port Arthur. Again, still, now they're saying moving east, Patrick, on the track that I'm seeing.
East at 40
east
miles
at 40.
an hour. Okay.
So a particularly dangerous situation for our friends. It's possible that this could turn south, stay south of the main populated areas of PA. That would be great.
Best case scenario with this is if it goes right into the Sabine Lake.
Yep, that would be. We're going to update the storm track as you look at the traditional Doppler radar and now the winds. That area where you see the red, the blue, and the green coming together now to the east-southeast of Taylor Landing, that is where we believe the storm is right now. This, again, a confirmed tornado.
Ugh.
Not a good scenario. We're hoping that this will stay out mostly in the marsh area and maybe perhaps pull south of PA.
All right, there you go. West
That's the
Port
updated
Arthur,
storm track.
351. Yeah, Port Arthur, 357, 401 Groves, as you can see. Oh, without a doubt.
That is on the ground.
That is on the ground, sir. You don't get any more classic
Textbook
than that right there.
For sure.
We talk a lot about this, but this is not common typically to see storms this strong that have been on the ground for such an extended period of time.
That's why they're called supercells. Normal thunderstorms have a lifetime of 15 to 20 minutes. But when you're talking about a supercell, the winds aloft, the shear, the wind direction, and the wind speed shear, this is a long-lived supercell thunderstorm. They last for hours sometimes, and they cycle through and produce these tornadoes. I'm going to have to go closer in as we get closer to Port Arthur. There it is right there, folks. Let me see if I can get that. That looks like it is north of Keith Lake and West Port Arthur.
And there goes another tornado warning.
Around Big Hill.
Extended for that area until 4:30 p.m.
Yes.
Same storm.
Yeah.
Same storm.
It's
They've
going to
just
hold
pushed it
together.
east. Yep.
So it does not.
Let's
Maybe
see
a
the
sliver
verbiage.
of Port Arthur or of Orange County, but again, this is between Keith Lake and West Port Arthur Road. That's where we're seeing it right now.
Yeah, I don't know if you have a chance to draw any of the roads on there, but this is getting closer to the plants.
It's right around Big Hill, it looks like.
Near the salt domes?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a couple miles south of 73. So if you're watching us from Port Acres there at the top of the screen, you may be okay, but I would be taking your tornado precautions. That's not a phrase we say a lot here. Move to an interior room, get away from the windows, and be prepared to take cover. We talk about being in bathrooms or closets and using mattresses and pillows to protect yourself. If this thing stays out in the marshland, we would all be forever thankful.
Let's see.
Again, this is a confirmed tornado. You're looking live. 3:42 on Saturday afternoon if you're watching us on air and streaming on 12 News Plus. We are on the air wall to wall with special coverage with this extended tornado warning that's now going to run until 4:30. That's for
Okay,
the other half of it.
That's the other
Half of the shaded polygon there.
Let me zoom in closer. Yeah, without a doubt, hell. So again, folks, if you're watching this, you need to be the most interior room of your house, away from glass. And if you're in a mobile home, say in Port Arthur, West Port Arthur, you need to be out of those mobile homes and get to a more substantial structure as this comes on in to around West Port Arthur, if this is not weakening.
There's the sky cam. And again, we've been talking about the huge amount of lightning accompanying this storm. We're seeing cloud to cloud and cloud to ground lightning with this. If you're watching us from Mid-County, if you're watching from Nederland, you should be okay. We're hoping this stays south of you, but because this is such a large storm, we're all getting some significant lightning and rain and wind with this. The hail core is near where the tornado itself appears to be. We'll flip back to the radar mode in the control room if we can for a second, guys, and yeah, you can see. That's actually larger hail being reported now.
Yeah.
How big is that? Let's see.
1 inch.
So some pocket chain size hail, maybe some quarter size
1 inch
hail.
size hail.
Quarters.
That 1 inch size hail, yeah, is severe without a doubt.
And we talk about how we really don't talk about tornadoes a whole bunch down this way.
Right.
But this
I
is the
mean,
season. The problem is that we don't have the winds aloft strong enough to produce tornadoes except during winter.
Yeah.
And that's what we have. We have a strong upper level disturbance coming in from the west, and this is helping to create the jet stream winds that we need to produce rotation in these thunderstorms. And here we go. Just the right direction and wind speeds are necessary to produce these tornadoes. The wind direction, see at the surface, the winds are blowing from the south and southeast. And as you go up in the atmosphere, they're more out of the west. So this is rotational. See how that changes angles as you go up into the atmosphere. So there is rotation because of this weather pattern that we're seeing right now. Big storms still up into Tyler, northern Hardin, and also Jasper counties, where there are severe thunderstorm warnings there for winds of 60 miles an hour and hail. But right now we are most concerned about this. It does look like it is weakening a bit, Jordan.
Well, we
That's good to
would
see.
definitely appreciate that
It's
happening.
still on the ground, no doubt about that. Again, let's see, I'm trying to see where this is. It's maybe over towards, West Port Arthur without a doubt.
Can you zoom in a little more for me? And I can probably help you as well. So Sabine Pass there, is right under where the Channel 12 logo is. That's 87 is the road that comes past Valero.
Yeah, and then that's the Sabine Lake there.
So at the moment, if this stays on a due east track, it may clip the edge of PA, West Port Arthur, but it may miss most of our neighborhoods and the plants itself, which would be good. Again, moving east at 40, and we were expecting it to cross this area in the next 5 minutes. So it's only a couple of minutes away from crossing 87.
So like Chevron, Diamond Green, the Gulf Gate Bridge, in towards Pleasure Island, those are the places where this is probably going to go. West Port Arthur.
If you got any friends or family that works at the either of the LNG facilities, and the one being built, Golden Pass, Port Arthur LNG, the very edge of West Port Arthur is the area of concern right now. It looks like this may miss downtown Port Arthur and Lamar State College. That's where that's where the camera is right now, and so we're still watching it. But we've been talking about the idea that you will not be able to see a clear tornado funnel. This is going to be covered by rain and clouds and obscured by the lightning. But if it does come into view, we do have our live Port Arthur Skycam pulled up there as well. Patrick, what are you seeing in terms of the winds?
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. It may be it doesn't look as healthy. The rotation does not look
Yeah.
as healthy as it once did. Let's see, but there's still something on the ground. You can again see this debris ball that we've been tracking and talking about as it continues moving off towards the northeast now at, let's see, 35 miles an hour is what the latest that I have.
Yeah, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour, 9 miles west of Port Arthur at this point.
It's, let's see, it is to the southwest of Port Arthur. It's less than that. It's more than that. It's less than two miles to the southwest of West Port Arthur. That needs to be updated. But again, this is the debris ball that we've been talking about right there, still holding together.
Yeah. So if you've got friends that work at Valero, Motiva, any of the LNG facilities, the chemical plant there in Port Arthur, the Chevron facility, you might shoot them a text and tell them to try to get to a safe spot within the facility. Hopefully they're taking tornado precautions. For all of our friends in West Port Arthur along Gulfway Drive, West Gulfway Drive, we're hoping that this misses you, but this is going to be a very, very close call with this storm. Again, a confirmed tornado on the ground, a dangerous scenario. Patrick is tracking. This is a storm that's upwards of 30,000 feet. And it is moved. We've watched it come up kind of on the back end of this system from Brazoria County, where there was tornado damage, through Galveston County, across the Ship Channel toward Anahuac. It moved across Chambers County, and now we've got it closing in on our doorstep. So again, a particularly dangerous situation with this storm. Still appears to be on the ground at this point, right, Jeremiah?
Yeah, and you can see, looking at our Skycam network, I mean, you can't really see much of anything, and the camera's kind of moving quite a bit due to those winds picking up. I'm not moving the camera right now. It is being moved by the wind.
No. That thing, okay, looks like it's spinning around. Okay, we're a couple of seconds behind, but we're spinning it back around, and you can see the whole Port Arthur Skycam. My goodness, the large supercell storm, and if it stops right about there, that looks like that would be where
Back to the southwest. Go back the other way.
I haven't moved the camera at all. That's the strong winds are kind of moving it back and forth from that.
All right. Well, we'll get that thing adjusted. It looks like something's displaying on the middle of the screen there. All right, back to the radar. Patrick, I'm going to let you take it away.
Okay, this storm is up, has heights of up to 40,000 feet. That's how tall it is. And again, moving towards the north and east, very close to southwest Port Arthur at about 35 miles an hour to the north and east. Again, a tornado warning that has been extended now to 4:30, I believe, and for southern Jefferson County and also into Sabine Lake. As if that matters, it'll be a water spout if it holds together. But let me get back on screen so that we can kind of go over this again. Again, this is a supercell, classic supercell. And what this is this is a self-sustaining thunderstorm. Just the right dynamics and instability allow it to hold together. Normal thunderstorms that we see, garden variety, only last 15 to 20 minutes. But this has stayed on the ground, or stayed together since Brazoria County, crossing, Galveston Bay, and also in and around Winnie, to the south of Winnie. Does not look as healthy as far as the couplet. So that's some good news, maybe weakening, but it does look like this debris ball still holding true. Looks like it's going to go just to the south of West Port Arthur and maybe over towards Highway 87, Highway 82, south of
Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island. So some good news.
We do have homes there, of course, so we're thinking of all of our friends in the path of this. You need to take precautions, but again, looks like you're okay in places like Port Acres at this point. The storm would be
Groves.
South of you, Groves, we're going to be okay.
Mid-County looks okay, so it's right to the south of downtown Port Arthur. So that's moving off to the east and northeast at 35 miles an hour.
I know Jeremiah has also been keeping an eye on power outages around the area, watching the Entergy grid. Let me see if I can pull up the whole numbers. It looks like by
there's
county
the rotation
here,
right there.
We've already got 13,000 or so affected. Those are some in other areas, Galveston and Montgomery counties. A couple hundred in the dark already in Chambers County, and just a couple of hundred in Jefferson County. Can you pull it back up to the Skycam, Jeremiah?
Yeah, of course.
And let's see if we can swing it back toward this way, toward Pleasure Island.
All right, let's see what we
It's
got.
going to be
there
low
we
on the
go.
ground.
You can totally
Let's take
see
this.
it.
Take the
You can
Skycam. There we
totally
got it.
see it. And it's rain wrapped. You can see all the rain around it.
There it is.
Wow.
So that would be the huge lowering, right? That theoretically is
Perfect.
all rotating. That is it.
Yeah.
Let's stay with this live. That is the tornado. My goodness.
Wow, that is a huge tornado. Looks like it's going into the Sabine Lake, which would be the best case scenario for those folks down towards Port Arthur.
Let's lock down the shot because we're going to stay with this.
Okay.
You
we
can
go.
see how fast it's moving
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, that just shows
There's the
you.
ship
wow.
channel. So it's likely already crossed, like you said, 87 and then 82 there south of Pleasure Island.
That is massive.
Yes.
Large tornado confirmed on the ground. You're looking
Oh,
live.
definitely a tornado, without a doubt. It's still holding together. Okay, there you go. Look at the couplet, not the couplet, but the debris ball. Right there it is on Highway 82 right now,
We just
south
lost
of Port
Skycam.
Arthur. Well, there you go.
For a second there.
That is without a doubt a tornado on right now on the ground, Highway 82 south of Port Arthur, and it looks like it's going to go right across Pleasure Island.
Do we have the updated Skycam? It looked like it was refreshing. This
I
is
think
a
it should
large.
be good.
This is a large tornado on the ground. No, control room. Can you maybe refresh your
Oh.
Skycam?
Okay, without a doubt, this is going to be. I think this is going to be at least an EF2, maybe an EF3 tornado with this, with the strength of the debris ball. Okay, there you go. It's weakening there. The latest scan just came in, so it may have pulsed up to an EF2, possibly an EF3. From my experience with the two tornadoes that affected Orange County back in 2021, and I can't remember the other one, 2020 maybe. This is the same path that this particular cell is a little bit further to the south than that one that affected Orange County. I think you're okay in Orange County.
That would be great.
And you know, if this were 10 to
it's
15
gonna go right
miles
up-
further north, this would have been a different situation.
Exactly. This is going to go south of Groves. I think this is going to go south of BC and Orange. So that's the good news. If it holds together and does not weaken, then it's going on this path right there, right across Sabine Lake. You couldn't ask for a better scenario.
Our Skycam, by the way, has lost power. It would appear there on the campus of Lamar State College, Port Arthur. That would be why we're not getting data. But if you were with us just 3 minutes ago, you saw how big this tornado is. And as Patrick said, really a best case scenario with this staying south of the city of Port Arthur. But what a close call and what a large tornado for our part of the world. Extremely scary stuff. You're looking, again, this is the
Yep.
wind mode on the radar.
Going right over Sabine Lake. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank God.
Yeah, this was a close one.
Thank God.
All right, we're on the air with you live. We're going to stay here until this thing moves out of southeast Texas. But again, a large tornado confirmed. We've seen it with our eyes on the Skycam in Port Arthur just minutes ago. And now you're looking at the radar mode. So Port Arthur, right now, you're getting slammed. We do have the Skycam back.
Let me check and see if we have it back
Let's
up.
see if that's actually live.
I'm going to X out of it and try to pull it back up and see
All right,
if we can
control
get
and
it rolling.
we'll double check. Thank you. Thanks for letting us know. Again, you're looking at the traditional radar mode right now, reminding you we now have that tornado warning that continues for southern Jefferson County, south of the city of Port Arthur. If you're watching from Nederland, Port Neches, Groves, you're okay. Just getting some heavy rain with this. We'd love to hear exactly what you're seeing where you are, because tornado warned storms are also severe thunderstorms. So even if you're not in the path of this tornado, we've seen some hail with this, and certainly strong gusty winds and a lot of lightning. Patrick.
Yeah, just looking over the latest warning from the Weather Service. Let's see, now moving east at 30 miles an hour. So it's kind of turned.
Made that right-hand turn.
It did, and that is indicative of a severe thunderstorm. Trying to get some more information. The good news is that we may be done here in Beaumont in the next few minutes, as this back edge of the precipitation will likely stay north of the triangle. We think that will probably be east of our area by 6 p.m. as a cold front that is expected to move through our area. And as you can see, this has moved out into the Sabine Lake. Right there is where it is. Of course, this is Pleasure Island, and that is Sabine Lake. So it's out over the water right now, without a doubt. As you can see, there is the debris ball. And again, a debris ball is basically it's looking at the shapes of the raindrops, and when you have similar raindrops, similar shapes of raindrops, it displays this red or this orange. But when you start getting into these greens and blues and purples in a small circle like that, the radar's saying, hey, these shapes are not the same. They're irregular. They're not the same shape. And that's where you can infer that there is actually something on the ground, like fence posts, shingles, trees, bushes, whatever. That's what the radar is picking up. And again, you can see very heavy rainfall coming down in Port Arthur, back over in towards Groves, and the hail, let's see, has weakened, maybe some small hail over towards Port Arthur coming down, but it does look like this is again moving out into Sabine Lake. Let me back out and show you that again, still strong thunderstorms up in the lakes area. You don't get very many days like this, and this is what we've been looking at is as far as the winds aloft and what direction they are. Lots of wind shear and also instability over the area. Again, a tornado watch in effect until 9 p.m. I believe. But the deal is that
once we get this out across the Sabine, we're kind of done in the triangle.
Exactly. I think we may be done with it over the next 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Look
That's
at all
good
the
news.
lightning strikes there.
Wow.
Look how fast. I've got our radar set on the slowest mode that it can go, and look how fast it is zipping across there.
And as we were talking about earlier, I mean, this has been a long-tracked supercell thunderstorm. It started off in Brazoria County, almost 125 miles to our south and west. So good to see that it's not impacting Port Arthur or Mid-County, and it's moving through the Sabine Lake, opposed to affecting those areas.
I just want to double check before we completely kind of let the guard down. Are there any populated areas in the path of this right now that
I
you
don't
can
think
see?
so.
This is going to miss Bridge City. It's going to miss Orange.
Right.
Looks like it's going right across the lake. And this is going to move into Cameron Parish.
Right.
So west central Cameron Parish is under the tornado warning right now.
Right, and it looks like it'll go south BC. So I think we're in pretty good shape the way it's looking right now. Just heavy rainfall, obviously. Lots of lightning. Yeah, this is right over Sabine Lake, as you can see. So it's a water spout, basically.
A long track tornado with this supercell.
Well, this is a long supercell.
Yeah.
A long track supercell. It's just, okay, there we go. It has weakened, it has moved over water.
Good deal.
So it's not going to be able to create a debris ball because it's over water. So it's going to lift up water basically. So it's not going to be able to be seen there.
Well,
But
we had
can
a close call for our friends in Port Arthur here in the last little bit.
That is for sure.
You've been watching us on the air live for at least the last hour or so here from 12 News, our weather impact team, meteorologist Jeremiah Stewart and Chief Meteorologist Patrick Vaughn on the air with you.
Who is off today, by the way.
Well, Patrick, we appreciate you coming in, polo shirt and all. You look great. We love it. Yeah, we all decided we saw this thing coming because it had been on the ground for so long. I don't know about, Patrick, I know you've been here kind of looking at the data.
Yeah, I've been here since about, 11:30?
We all decided we probably should come in and help. So yeah, we wanted to keep everybody safe. Control room, and I know our news management team is here as well. Let us know when you're ready to wrap up the coverage. But we are going
I think we're in pretty good shape.
Keep people updated for just a couple more minutes. All the lightning with this storm. That's why we've lost our live Skycam from Port Arthur. It looks like it took a power hit there on the campus of Lamar State College. But boy, just minutes ago, around 3:50, we did have a shot of that large rain-wrapped tornado. Perhaps the rain making it look a little bit larger than it was, but an ominous sight.
I didn't think we were going to be able to see it, but once you saw the sky lowering there, it was without a doubt that tornado coming. Hopefully we recorded that. We were recording this, so
we'll be able to find that shot.
Yeah, I want to find that shot and archive
yeah.
it. It's too awesome to see
sure.
here in Southeast Texas. You don't see, again, many like that. It's kind of like that October 21, October 27th.
Yeah.
This is the same. In fact, I grabbed this from my Facebook or my social media X X platform.
The
And
photos?
The photo. This is the tornado right there. The background is the tornado that went through Orange County.
Is that the I-10 one?
The I-10 one,
Yeah.
October 27th of 2020,
21.
yeah, that lofted that side by side up in the air and went down I-10, if you remember that. So I think we're in pretty good shape. Just lots of lightning right now. Again, this is moving off over in towards western sections of Cameron Parish, and again to the south and east of Port Arthur. Yeah, we're in good shape there. It's over the lake. I don't see, okay, and there you go. So I think we're in pretty good shape. Just heavy rainfall that is coming down over towards Orange, back over to Groves, Port Arthur, Sabine Pass. Very heavy rainfall. Again, if it's still holding together, it's a water spout right now and heading on off towards the east at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. So there's, I don't think, any danger for Orange County. I think Port Arthur is in great shape, even Sabine Pass. So 2 thumbs up. We couldn't ask for, if we're going to have a tornado, I think this is the best. It could have gone at a better place. I won't say unpopulated, but low population line or track that this took. And right now, not affecting too many people at all.
All right, Chief Meteorologist Patrick Vaughn manning the radar for us this afternoon. Patrick, we appreciate you being on the air with us through this dangerous situation.
I would have dressed up if I had known I was going to be on air. But
the polo shirt's nice. It's a good look.
It's a relax for your day off.
It is. It's been a busy Saturday. And friends, we are going to wrap up our coverage here from 12 News. In case anything changes, of course, we will break into programming and be with you on air and online if conditions change. We thank you for tuning in, and we appreciate you trusting 12 News to help you and your family stay safe. Take care.
In Cameron Parish, even up along Middle Ridge Road and their areas north of Johnson Bayou. I think this stays just north of you, but it's going to be close. In fact, we can zoom in a little closer on this, Max, and make some of the roads pop in that are farther south, closer to Johnson Bayou, just to prove that this will stay north of your area. You can kind of just pull this map toward the north, if you will, and kind of show folks farther north that you are a little bit beyond this tornado warning and where the tornado is at itself. But right there is where that is at, dangerously close. In fact, some of you in Johnson Bayou may have an interesting view of this if you were to be outside. I wouldn't encourage it, but I realize it is daylight, and it probably would be easy to see this if it's not too rain-wrapped. In fact, let's kind of widen this out just a little bit, Max, and go back to the regular radar. And you can kind of see that there is rain that extends down to near Johnson Bayou, but that may be visible if you are close enough to see it. And again, we'll see what the National Weather Service is going to do with this. I think this storm is going to get close to outrunning the tornado warning here within the next probably 5 minutes or so. So going to be making this decision on whether or not to reissue a warning. And I think based on the radar, there's no doubt that's going to be coming likely for much of central Cameron Parish. I'm seeing other showers starting to pop up, Max, am I not?
Yeah,
address those real quick.
I was about to say, yeah, there looks like there are other showers starting to take place over, looks like KHOU Lake, but northern Cameron on the northern edge of town, closer to Hackberry, getting closer to Grand Lake. They seem to have picked up a little bit of steam as well in terms of how heavy the rain is. So those are going to continue moving to the north, likely eventually into central KHOU Parish. You see a couple additional showers even farther. And yeah, so they extended, let me go back. The warning now includes more of Cameron Parish. It goes right up to the KHOU-Cameron state line. I'll zoom in here a bit more, and you can see the outline of that box where Hackberry, you're included in that warning now. This tornado itself still off to the west, but it is getting closer, and that warning still, or it does go again right up to the Intracoastal Waterway along the parish line there. Wouldn't be a shock if even some portions of southern KHOU were to get included in that a little bit later on, so we'll continue to keep an eye on that. I looked in, according to the National Weather Service chat, apparently a new debris signature with that storm in western Cameron Parish was spotted on radar. I'll try to get that up. And yeah, it does appear, if you look kind of in the middle of your screen now, where you have that bluer, greener dot right there. If I put the storm or the velocity back on. I'll toggle back and forth between them. Still can see a very impressive velocity signature with those bright reds and greens. And when I go back to the debris signature, it does look like that the debris signature is exactly where you would expect it to, correlated right exactly with the couplet itself where those reds and greens met. So it is still, even though over the western part of the parish, it seems like it picked up something, maybe a tree, part of a marsh, anything out there. So it's still a very strong storm. And that too is going to continue getting very close to Hackberry within the next 30 minutes or so, maybe a little sooner.
Yeah, you know, that is, I've said it all along for the last now, 30, 45 minutes. That is my biggest concern. I know there's a lot of folks in around the Hackberry area that are still in travel trailers, campers and mobile homes and whatnot. Remember, those are never a safe place to be during a tornado, and you need to be thinking about getting to a safe place. You've still got a little bit of time. In fact, if you want to widen that out just a little bit, maybe Max, and you can see Hackberry, you still got a little time, but you're getting to the point where you need to start thinking about being in a safe place or just staying where you are, because we don't want you out on the roads caught in a storm either. That's certainly an even worse scenario. Being in a vehicle is never a safe place either during any kind of tornado or anything like that. So while I would encourage you to, if you can, get to a safe place, if you live in a trailer, mobile home, camper, or something like that in and around Hackberry, do so very quickly, and you don't need to go far. I know there are several substantial buildings in and around the town of Hackberry. You can get there and just stay there for a little bit until this clears out. I'm sure the folks at Brown's Grocery there would not mind if you come in and hang out with them for just a little bit as this storm passes through. But again, please exercise a lot of caution with this storm. I don't like to hype things up, but this storm has had a history of producing likely damage as it started over near the Houston area and has been very prolific on radar. And the debris signature is going to be a little harder to determine as this is moving over relatively open marsh. Obviously, across Cameron Parish, there's not a lot of quote-unquote debris to pick up for this storm, other than maybe some marsh grass and some water out of the marsh already. And water does not count as debris because the radar can't determine the difference between water that's been pulled up and water that's falling in the form of rain. The way the debris signature works is the radar can tell the difference between an actual raindrop falling or something that is not a raindrop, that is not a uniform shape. A raindrop is going to be round or kind of oval shaped and uniform in shape. Something that is debris is going to be odd shaped, you know, whether it's a 2x4, a shingle, or grass that has been picked up or anything else, is not one defined shape. The radar can see the difference in that. So when we say debris, that's what the radar is seeing. It obviously cannot determine whether it is actual debris or just something that is not a raindrop falling, but that's how that really works real quick. Let's go to the regular radar view on this, because even though the tornado part of this is not there, you're already dealing with rain in and around Hackberry. And again, I do apologize, the lightning is not showing up. It is still lightning. I assure you there is a lot of lightning going on with this thunderstorm. Still, this notch-shaped feature showing up here on radar is a classic signature we look for. The velocity signature is still here with this thunderstorm as well. We can switch to the velocity on that real quick as well, Max, and you can kind of see right in here, that is where this tornado is still likely ongoing, and it's still very prolific looking here on radar to me. I see no reason why this isn't still ongoing here across western Cameron Parish. It's not made it to Hackberry yet. You do still have some time yet, but it is getting closer and closer to you, probably within the next 15 to 20 minutes or so, I would say, as when that could arrive in and around the Hackberry community. Let's go to Wide View once again. I always try to keep everyone updated because I realize we're interrupting program for a lot of folks here and want to keep you advised of what's going on. If you're watching, let's head to Beauregard and Allen Parish. We do have this severe thunderstorm warning.
There's watching. We are, of course, watching that tornado that's approaching the Hackberry vicinity. Look at the National Weather Service chat room with the NWS, and it looks like another severe thunderstorm warning is coming out. That's going to include Allen, Beauregard, KHOU, Jeff Davis parishes. Let's try to see if it's on.
Been quite a bit of rain already falling, and the tornado warning is still in effect across Cameron Parish, including the Hackberry area. I will admit, I was looking at it off camera while Max was talking to me. It's not quite as prolific looking as it was earlier. That was a good sign, but these storms can sometimes what we call cycle. They can go through a time where they weaken a little bit. The environment, if it stays prone to for development, can recycle or re-strengthen. And that's still a possibility with this storm. So just because it doesn't look as prolific, I don't want to ignore it or make it sound like this is not still a problem. And we'll continue monitoring that. And I do want to mention one more time, because we're starting to affect more and more folks with more and more population as well, that one, keep your cell phone charged as long as you can. That way it'll be fully charged, or at least as much charge as possible. So in case power gets knocked out, obviously if power goes out, you're going to lose your television. And of course, if you're watching on a satellite, you may lose your television service anyway, even if you still have electricity. The rain fade can happen. If that happens, or any other thing causes you not to be able to watch on television, make sure you have our First Alert weather app on your smartphone. If you don't, go to your app store right now, search for KPLC weather, download the app. Once you have the app, or if you already have it, open it, scroll down in the app, and you'll find a tab that says live video, live streaming, or something like that. When you click on that, there'll be a few options there. You'll want to find the one that says Skycam or breaking news. That will allow you to be able to watch our coverage right there in the palm of your hand, whether it's on your smartphone, your smart device, tablets, or maybe even on television if you have a Roku or any of those smart devices attached to your TV. Of course, as long as you have power for that, you can watch on there as well. But again, you'll want to find that tab that says Skycam and breaking news. You'll be able to stream along and watch us right there in the palm of your hand. I encourage you to do that. Maybe you go ahead and get it going. That way, if power is knocked out in your area, you'll be already kind of ahead of the game and won't have to go find all those tabs and go ahead and do that, especially if you're in the path of this tornado warning, which is in the Hackberry area. Max, I saw you looking at a few things. Are we okay over there still?
Yeah, we're still okay. I was just looking over at the cell in Western Cameron Parish, getting closer to Hackberry.
Yeah,
I think it actually...
Let's zoom in a little closer on that if we can here real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it actually is trying to cycle. If I go to the velocity, will show up. So here's the couplet we were tracking at first. You can see it was really strong. It's across the state line. Then it starts to weaken a little bit, but it looks like a newer signature is starting to develop.
It's definitely still there for sure, regardless. Yeah, it was looking a little less pronounced a few scans ago, but still there, and it's definitely still there, I think, no doubt. And I doubt the debris shows up because, as I've explained earlier, we're over the open marsh, as you well know if you live in Cameron Parish. There's not a whole lot here other than maybe some marsh grass that can pull up as it moves across, so there's not much quote-unquote debris to be lofted into the air to see. That's where, with all the tools we have in meteorology, sometimes you have to use some common sense and think about where it's actually moving over, that there's nothing for it to actually pick up, if you will. But the velocity, which is the wind, and let me explain how this works one more time in case you weren't watching earlier. What we look for are these different colors. Red, as it indicates up here in the banner, means winds that are blowing away, and that's from the Lake Charles National Weather Service radar, so winds that would be basically southwesterly here. Green means the winds are blowing toward the radar, which in this case would be more of a wind from the southwest blowing toward the northeast. And when you see those kind of overlap or right over top of each other, that means there could be rotation right there. And I'm going to leave my hand here, Max. If you'll switch this back to the regular radar, you'll notice this matches up kind of underneath the thunderstorm, but it is still where I would suspect there could be a tornado ongoing inside of this thunderstorm. So definitely still signs here that, and this is getting close to Hackberry. Here we are right here. In fact, if you want to move the radar over just a little bit and maybe zoom in a little bit closer on this, we'll show you. There's the community of Hackberry. Rain is fairly light for now, but you can see that heavier rain is just to the west and will be coming in likely within the next I'd say 10 to 15 minutes at best. So heads up, things are about to get much worse, and it's probably already very windy in Hackberry, so you need to be in the safe place now. And I know it sounds like we're focusing just on Hackberry. That's because, one, it's the only community here basically along Highway 27 in northern Cameron Parish. And of course, if you live just outside of here, you should be counting yourself included in that. But KHOU, we are out of this tornado warning. We are not included. Anyone in KHOU is not included in this warning. Unless this storm gains some latitude, we may not be. If anyone were to be included, maybe the eastern part when this warning has to be extended if it does hold together as it moves off toward the east. In fact, let's widen just a little bit here, Max, and I want to do another storm track on this and kind of show folks, just give you a first alert. If this holds together, let's track this across the southeastern corner of KHOU and the rest of northern Cameron Parish over the next hour or so and just give you an idea of where this would go and a timeline of when it could arrive. So I'm going to focus on the areas more direct in the path. You can see the Sweet Lake area by around 5:15. So that's in, let's say, 20 to 30 minutes from now. And then areas closer to the Bell City area around 5:30. So we're looking at about 30 to 45 minutes from now, and then areas of southern Jeff Davis Parish sometime after 5:30. I won't focus too much on the time that far out, but just a first alert, you've got about an hour or so before that specific storm could reach southern portions of Jeff Davis Parish. But that's not our only concern in Jeff Davis Parish. Of course, we've got the severe thunderstorm that's going in the north. Tornado warned storm, as Max said, over kind of just near the Hackberry area. Not as pronounced now, and that is a good sign. The velocity signature is not quite as pronounced here. This doesn't look as prolific. And I know you might be saying, well, we're still seeing that red and green kind of next to each other. Well, yes, but it's more what we call broad in nature. There's not a well-defined particular couplet showing up here anymore. So it's possible that this is no longer producing a tornado. The National Weather Service is obviously going to leave this warning going for at least a little while longer to make sure that nothing changes in that regard. And it's soon to cross Highway 27 here, maybe just south of Hackberry, maybe where this goes if there is still a tornado on the ground here. But let's put the radar here. Even if we don't have a tornado, we're still dealing with a lot of rain, very heavy rain, likely very gusty winds. And of course, you can see all the lightning that is showing up as well. Yes, a prolific amount of lightning going on here across much of north central portions of Cameron Parish in and around the Hackberry community. And let's widen this out just a smidge here because obviously this is going to cross KHOU Lake. So heads up, places like Deatonville, Big Lake, then over toward Grand Lake, down near the Abears Landing area. This is moving across the lake. And at the very least, it's still going to mean the same thing I just described. Gusty winds, a lot of rain, a lot of lightning is heading in your direction. You're probably already hearing the thunder anyway, but the actual lightning is going to be getting much closer to those of you on the eastern side of the KHOU River in northern Cameron Parish. And we'll see if the tornado part of this can strengthen again. We certainly hope it doesn't. I definitely do not want to see that, but it is something we'll continue to monitor very closely over the next 10 to 15 minutes because this warning is set to go through 5:15. So we've got some time to watch this and see how it progresses, though it's going to get close to running out of the edge of the tornado warning, which is basically down the middle of the shipping channel is where the edge of the warning is at. The western half of Cameron Parish is included in this tornado warning, but areas farther east are not included in that tornado warning, at least at this moment. And that'll have to be a decision the forecasters at the National Weather Service make. I'll admit, again, it does not look as prolific at this moment. So that is good news. I like seeing storms that are showing signs of weakening. We don't want to see the reverse being true, where storms are strengthening or even maintaining strength as they were when they were over southeast Texas. So some good news here. Since we're here and I see it behind me, let's look at that other part of this thunderstorm.
I don't see the tornado warning for Cameron Parish. It's possible the Weather Service may have decided to cancel that.
It looks that way, yes. It looks like it is no longer on the map, so it looks like they have dropped that tornado warning, which is good. And that's kind of what we had been talking about, that the radar signature was not as impressive with this anymore, and maybe it is no longer producing a tornado. Certainly not seeing signs of that, but I will still caution this bode feature going on over KHOU Lake now. That is still an indication of maybe some gusty winds. There's not even a severe thunderstorm warning out of this at the moment.